Okay, pre-show memes are live. Now I gotta watch to be able to mute the streams when they start playing. Okay. Yep, there we go. That's one. And then Twitch. Alright. Alright. Oh, this is the old image I have on here right now. I have to change that. Oh no. I'm showing the old image. Hold on, I gotta fix
What
this.
you doing?
I meant to change it before we went live, but I guess I forgot.
You forgore.
And I have the new image, so I could just switch to it. There we go. Brand new memes. And sometimes
Memes.
dreams.
Nah.
My camera... my camera would work, but there's a giant pre-show thing over my face. There you go.
Yeah, you know, cam working? Impossible.
Curious.
Couldn't be me.
Doing
Doing one of those bits.
Hmm.
So we call comedy.
You know, I mean... Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Alright, let's see here. Close that. Don't care. Didn't ask.
Plus L plus ratio.
So Anne was saying something about a PowerPoint presentation, and then they said in DMs that they're not even going to use it. So I don't know.
No, it's not in DMs. I saw it.
Whatever.
It was right here.
Somewhere they had said that they're not going to be using. Oh no, yeah, they did also say in DMs. Okay, there's two areas where this happened. Okay, so they said they made it and they're not going to use it. So
Based.
don't know what that means. I'm assuming, like I thought, when they started doing it, they realized Saito's a cliche bitch. But I mean, you know,
He's funny though.
what can I say? What can I say? How does he do it?
He doesn't.
How does he perfectly predict everything? I can make my arguments pretty easily, but the focus on previous light novels before the industry. Listen, I'm seeing them talking about the anime production and the light novels. We're talking about the manga. We're reading the manga, so this presentation better not be based on the light novels.
But what if though? What would the comedy Wolfborg? You ever think about that?
Listen. Alright, let's send out the pings. Bring out the clowns.
Clowns?
Yeah, the clowns. You're already here. I don't know if you realized it, but...
God fucking damn it, Wolfborg. I'm a clown?
Yeah. Problem?
Yes.
What's the problem? Hello? Hello, is there a problem? Hello?
Yes, there's a problem.
What's the problem? Hello?
I'm not a clown, Wolfborg.
That's what a clown would say. To be
God
honest.
fucking damn it.
TBH. You know? I mean, I can spell it.
You sure can, buddy.
Yeah, I can, and I will, and yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Everything is ready on my end. Now we just need people to show up. So let's see if
You're
that
showing up.
happens.
Come on. Impossible.
We'll see if that happens. As
Mm-hmm.
if.
Little sus, TBH.
Alright, where's my notes on volumes 3 and 4? Right here. Right here. Right
Hey,
over
Yoog is
here.
right here.
Hey, Yoog. Okay. Okay. Alright, what the fuck was going on with this Twitter drama bullshit?
Twitter.
Something happened with the new Jujutsu Kaisen episode where apparently some animator there leaked the episode and people are trying to figure out who it was. And they said it was probably this one guy. And they were pretty sure it was, and they had some screenshots about it. But now that guy has come out saying, fuck you guys, I didn't do it, with screenshots from, like, the Mappa, like, production assistant or whatever, saying that they know he didn't do it. But, I mean, I don't know. I barely know anything about what is happening, other than that people are losing their fucking minds over it. And so.
I mean, you know, yeah, I think that's new.
Somebody is messaging me on Reddit now.
This one's a Redditor.
Because they're asking about New Game Complete Edition, which came out this week, along with the Idol Story Volume 3.
Edition.
The Complete Edition, this guy's asking about it too, because people are confused. You would think with something called the Complete Edition, it's going to be like a big box set with all of the volumes or whatever, or something. It's not. The Complete Edition for a new game just means they're going to start publishing omnibuses of the series with colored pages that and all the prints are bigger. It's like what the size it originally was in the magazine, which they weren't able to print it out at that size with color when they were actually releasing the volume. So this is like a reproduction that's supposed to be the like complete experience of how you were supposed to experience it, I guess. Because there was only like at the beginning of every volume, there's like the beginning of it has colored pages, and then several other chapters look like they're supposed to have colored pages, but they're not colored because paper costs of printing and all that stuff. So
what you're telling me is capitalism strikes again.
Yeah. So pretty much the complete edition is supposed to be, at least the first volume of it is supposed to be the first 2 volumes of the series. And it's supposed to be bigger with colored pages. And I think they said they added a couple bonus meme comics or whatever. I don't know yet. I ordered several copies of it. It's on the way here. Okay. It's not in English. It's only in Japanese, but it's on the way here. Don't know when it'll get here. Maybe in 2 weeks because Japanese shipping times. I don't fucking know. We'll see. That and Volume 3 of Idol Story. I got that order too, so that's on the way. But yeah, to answer that person's question, which I will do on Reddit later today, just let them know that it's the first 2 volumes of the series. The series has like 13 volumes, so the first volume of the complete edition is just the first 2 volumes. They plan to release 6, so one of the volumes is going to have like 3 volumes in it. Well, we'll see how that goes. I'd imagine one of them would have 3 volumes, because you have 6, so maybe they just are going to add an extra volume, right? Bonus meme content. Maybe they finally, after all of these years, take the opportunity to write New Game Plus. You know? Everybody clowned on him. They were like, why is Season 2 of New Game not called New Game Plus? Why is it New Game with 2 exclamation marks?
Because there is a New Game Plus. Is that why?
No, there isn't. Not for that series, at least. But well, I think 1 year for an April Fool's thing, the studio made an announcement about a fake RPG that they were calling New Game Plus of the series. But I think that was just like a web page or whatever.
So it's like the web page from Breaking Bad, you know, the one.
Yeah, the Walter GoFundMe, you know.
I can't believe stuff like that exists.
Oh,
Like someone actually committed to the bit that much.
I forgot. Am I supposed to ping people to let them know we're starting soon? Hold on. Book club starting in 10 minutes.
Hmm.
They're in about 10 minutes.
I think Anne's gonna be awake. Still taking her goddamn nap.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. One for the ages.
Find out today on Dragon Ball Z.
At least this time we know Anne has read the manga chapters ahead of time.
Allegedly.
I don't know if everybody else has, but we'll see.
Like, I read them twice, okay?
You read them twice? Whoa.
Yeah, they did, the day we were finished, and then, this morning.
Sometimes I end up reading the volumes twice for a week, but usually it's because I'm just reading through quickly the first time, and then the second time I'm going through to take a couple notes. But
I got you. I do get some screenshots. Hold on.
Right. Welcome, gamer.
Hi, Ari.
Have you read the volumes? Does 2 ducks mean yes? Or 2 quacks? Well, what is this communication system? Wait.
I respond with 2 quacks if it's yes.
That's more than 2 quacks. I don't know what this means. Is this a panic? Are we panicking? Have you not read it?
Is this danger?
Just is this what you're feeling? Is that quack twice if that's you?
I'm very disappointed in you.
I'm doing the metal pipe. There we go. Also, we're pretty sure Anne might not be awake in time for the stream. They were like, let me take a nap, set an alarm. Don't know. I don't know. We're 5 minutes away from starting.
Funny screenshot I got.
I'm like, it's just a really zoomed in Tabitha, and then like, what is this? Louise drinking stuff? What is?
Yes, she has a funny face.
Hold on, I'll show it. Where's my desktop only? Is that? Then you got this. And then we got this. Wow, very tiny screenshots. Amazing.
Of course. Would you want them any bigger? Did you?
And sent me.
Oh, you want it to be smaller. Okay.
And also sent me several screenshots of the manga that they were saying, I'm using you to move images to my PowerPoint. And then I've been told we're not actually using the PowerPoint. So I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like we're not discussing it at all.
I don't know what the plan is with that.
Don't worry.
Turando's here. That's good. Welcome, Turando.
Alright, there's also this one.
Just finished reading chapter 21. Oh, why is this such a heavy tragedy? I'm reading another light novel with Most Varrock. I don't know, is that a person? I don't know what Most Varrock is. That's got 440 chapters of the light novel to go. I still have Familiar of Zero on my reading list. Am I reading Crime and Punishment or Brothers Kasimov? I consider Crime and Punishment to be a web novel, light novel, since its publication format was a newspaper serial. Well, alright. Aside from epic poems and radio shows of the 60s. Fair enough, if that's how it was published. Wait, so what's this other thing you sent me?
It's just Louise jinxing absolutely everyone.
Oh.
I mean, I mean, yeah. You can tell my taste in screenshots.
But I've heard that recently air pirates are using the rebellion as an opportunity and getting more and more active. Don't worry, what kind of people would open attack so early in the morning? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Definitely not pirates.
Nah, impossible.
Alright, who's placing bets? We got 3 minutes until the show is supposed to start.
They're not.
They're not going to make it on time.
No.
Do you think they're going to show up?
That's the real question. On time, absolutely not. Show up?
Well, let's
Yes.
see. Supposedly,
I'll say at the 40-minute mark.
they might be. It's okay. They might be awake and just getting a stream snack. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah,
Shit,
sure.
Speaking of Trendle, we're going to do some math. Remember? Can you remind me real quick?
There's math going on.
Oh
What
yeah,
the
yeah,
hell?
yeah. Sure. Did you see what I
Yeah, let me get the thing. Okay, so it is. So we're going. Well, let's pull up my calculator real quick. Okay, so
Oh no, my stream is being held hostage by math nerds.
question. What's the compounding period for the interest?
let's just say monthly, I guess, or
Okay,
3 year
All right, monthly. That's good.
payments.
Okay, so we changed the. Hold on. Second. Okay, so we changed. Okay, change both of those to 12. Question. What's the PMT?
What does PMT
Oh,
stand for?
okay, no. Okay, so like, how often are you like paying this all off at the end, or are you making payments in between, like during it?
I believe it's the loan period would be during, so it's like monthly payments, like a car payment or a car loan.
Okay, so you're paying that much every month. Okay. Gotcha. So, we go second. So we're falling 5 and equals 60. I assume the $7 that's 7% interest is per year.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's the current interest rate, something like that.
180.
Oh wow, nice.
Hey, welcome.
On
You're
time.
just on
Oh, look.
time.
Wow.
See, you
I
guys
lost that
doubted.
bet.
You guys doubted.
All right, who's collecting the bets?
I had to switch up my snack last minute because I decided that what I originally made I wasn't gonna like.
Oh,
Chap
So
won the bet. Damn it.
easy clap.
were you guys
said-
betting on why I was gonna be late?
No,
No,
we were betting on whether or not
if
you'd
you were
be
gonna
here
show
on time.
up.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
I said you
I-
weren't gonna even be on time and show up like 40 minutes late.
And I had faith.
God, rude. I
you
literally
guys.
been up since for like an hour.
That's what I would say too if I just woke up and I was trying
What
to
the fuck?
trying to play it off like, yeah, guys, I've been
Guys-
up for a while now.
guys-
I don't know.
You guys are terrible, you know that.
Anyways, I'm gonna ping for the stuff. We shouldn't be waiting on anybody else. Nobody new has told me that they're joining in, so let me. Oh no! Don't tell me. Did I close my Twitter when I had the tweet ready? God damn it! Hold on. Let me retweet it out.
Control H, buddy.
Yeah, I have it copied already, so it's fine. I just have to put the image back in. All right, are we ready to go? Stop! Nope.
Holy
bad.
shit, we got face cam today.
I just have it on during the pre-show. I don't
My
want to just
apples
distract
taste
everybody.
suspiciously like nail polish.
Like nail polish.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, looks like these numbers are about right, Durando.
Still doing math.
Sweet. I am nomming on a breadstick right now. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
I just
Yo,
finished some
goated.
spicy pasta, so you know.
Spicy.
Today's
pasta.
stream snack is chicken nuggets with ketchup and apples with peanut butter.
Damn.
Oh,
base.
and I have some Ben and Jerry's ice cream to have afterwards.
Hell yeah. This stream is sponsored by Ben and Jerry's.
Who's that again?
It's Ben and Jerry. You don't know them?
No, they're not Canadian.
Why?
I don't actually know if that's
An
true.
ice cream brand.
I don't know enough about Ben
Mm.
or Jerry to be able to say whether or not they're Canadian. To be honest, I don't know.
You can't prove me wrong.
I believe they're from New Hampshire, if I remember correctly.
That's close enough to
Or Vermont,
Canadian.
that's where they started it.
No,
That's-
it's not.
That's close enough to Canada.
No,
It's like
it isn't,
literally the
Wash-
border. Okay.
I'm just saying, if they're not saying soy all the time, then they're not Canadian.
You don't know them. Maybe they do.
You don't know them either.
Listen. I at least know their ice cream. Okay. I don't even know if you knew their ice cream.
Why does Turando just know everything? What the fuck?
Damn.
My cat! Oh my god. Cute.
Yeah, they say with
Yeah.
this Durando.
Are we bringing pets to stream? Where's Leroy?
Where's Leroy, Ari?
Oh my god, we have a first time.
Downstairs.
He is. Why the hell isn't he here? He needs to be here for book club. He read Familiar of Zero, right?
He didn't.
What?
I'm sorry to break it to you, but he didn't.
What?
He just
Fuck.
left.
All right, I lost that.
Chat,
bet.
chat, don't get excited.
I lost that. Bet. Wait, what?
Oh,
That's
you made
just
a
a bot.
No, I know that. I was gonna read it sarcastically. We have a bot from. I'm sorry, a totally legit person, first time chatter. Okay, brand new, boundless peasant. Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chat bots, etc. Price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient order management panel. Oh my god, this is so. Go to Steam. What? I don't even know. How do I ban on this fucking chat? Oh my god, I hate Twitch. I'm trying to. I have this integrated fucking chat for the
Skill issue.
OBS stream. Okay, here we go. I have to click their name to ban them.
Yes,
Okay.
you do. There you go.
Why the hell
That'll work.
would Twitch ever design something like this? Stop! I don't care. Oh my god, I hate Twitch. Okay, bans.
It's only now you hate Twitch? Only now.
There's just a fucking pop-up that they have says open stream together in a browser to invite a guest, and now I can't click anything else while it's up. I fucking hate you.
Invite me, Jeff. Come on. It'll be funny.
How do I...
Jeff.
Okay, thank you. Every time I tried to click it, it just blocked me from doing it.
That's
By
funny.
design.
I hate Twitch. Okay, good. All right.
Only now?
Everybody else ready? We don't have any other pre-show memes before we get going?
No.
All right.
Oh.
I'm taking off the pre-show tag. All right, welcome everybody to another exciting week of the Anime Book Club. Here once again talking about Zero's Familiar. That's the manga of Familiar of Zero, not to be confused. Get it right. So, as usual, we're going to be talking about 2 volumes. This week it's volumes 3 and 4, and we have our usual guests for this series so far. Starting with what does it say in the order? Arimia. Introduce yourself.
Hi.
What do you do? Tell the stream.
Hi.
Good.
I'm a
Good.
shonen junkie. But not this kind of junkie. I don't like the harem stuff. I like the fighting. Not this.
Just sadly going, not this, please.
Not this.
You guys know me, Chaplain, aka Wolfborg, the owner of the channel and the owner of all objectively correct opinions about all media ever. That's just a fact. Look it up. That's just how it goes. And next, we have Nyan Bacon. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Nyan Bacon, Ann or Andy. All pronouns are fine, and I'm the one with all of the objectively correct opinions about Familiar of Zero, or in this case, Zero's Familiar
Exactly.
specifically.
Well, we'll find out about that. And next we have Shadow Man. Introduce yourself.
I'm Shadowman V4. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I also have a YouTube channel where I do Mega Man Val and Eric.
Nice. Hell yeah. So go check out.
We're actually gonna be doing one right after the stream, so you know,
All
we're
right.
getting to Jesse
yeah.
Pinkman soon.
Jesse, we have to go watch Shadow Man V4 streams. So go check those out. If you are interested in those, I'm sure he'll put a link somewhere for you guys to check it out. And then we have Turando. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Turando, and I like to read.
That's all you need to be here. So welcome once again, everybody. Let's get right into the memes here. How did we feel about volumes 3 and 4?
Wow.
Wow in a good way? Wow in a bad way? Wow in a...
Wow. This sure is a 2000
An anime of all time.
shonen. It sure is a 2000s harem shonen. It's yeah.
Okay, so we left volumes 1 and 2 after they had just defeated how do you pronounce her name? Fouquet?
Okay.
Fouquet. Okay, so they
Not even close.
I don't know. I don't know. So that's why I'm asking.
Look,
okay, don't
there's
bully
a
me.
reason
I'm trying
why
to
the Canadians
ask.
court
You literally watched the
Frenchies.
anime. You literally
I
watched
watched it a year ago and I couldn't tell you a single fucking thing that happened from watching the anime, okay?
Based.
I don't know what to tell you, all right? So, and then you want me to remember people's names. Come on now. Anyways,
That's the hardest thing to do.
so we ended volumes 1 and 2 with them capturing the thief, the villain from the last volume, and we move on to volumes 3 and 4 with Princess Henrietta coming to town with the cardinal who's like manipulating their position or something like that, and then the Viscount Wards, is that how you pronounce his name? Okay, Viscount Wards is there, and so we have this new cast of people showing up to town, and we're just immediately kind of thrown onto the next important mission, where Henrietta is asking Louise for help in the middle of like a big political like tensions rising kind of thing going on, and they need Louise and the gang to go off on a mission, a secret mission, to go and retrieve a letter that was sent to the Prince of Albion, another country nearby, so that they could stop something bad from happening related to the political tensions happening.
Question.
So, yes, yep.
Is it secret if like three other people
That's what
learn
I
about
was
it?
about to
Yes,
say.
it is supposed to be a secret mission, and then immediately
absolutely
upon
possible.
the secret mission being assigned to them, somebody is spying on them. Guiche is spying on them, and barges in because while explaining the secret mission to Louise, who was a childhood friend of Henrietta, and Saito's in the room too because he's her familiar. Saito is given Henrietta's hand to like kiss her hand. Louise explains that offering the hand means he's supposed to kiss her, and he assumes that means on the lips somehow. I don't even know if being from Japan would excuse that. I don't know.
I'm just saying, Canadian me, this whole thing I would disagree with.
Like
I think that's reasonable because it is a different world, so rules are
I'm
different.
Italian me would
but
say
if-
that's just a normal thing.
would
That's
you
no interaction if you're
ask?
Italian.
but I feel
I
like
think it's funny.
I mean, I understand for the comedy of it, but I feel like even if you're from another world, if you're from Japan in like 2006 and you've seen literally any like medieval fiction at all, you'd understand that that's what that means. But you know, I don't know.
Or again,
No,
you could ask.
Yeah, well,
Words are a thing.
his excuse is, well, I asked what I was supposed to do, and she said I'm supposed to kiss her. They didn't specify, on the hand, even though she's literally offering her hand while he's kneeling down. It's like, well, what else could it be? I don't. So, anyways, he kisses her on the lips, and in front of Louise too. But he's like, oh, why is she giving me permission to do this? This is so weird. But okay, so that happens. Guiche is listening in, so he barges in. He was immediately simping for Henrietta as well as soon as she showed up. So he's been following her naturally, the Playboy dude. So, but I mean, he's not the only one who was immediately simping. All the girls there were pretty much simping for the Viscount as well. Like Kirke and I don't think Tabitha, but I think Kirke and
Why is everyone down bad?
Kirke and Louise. where
And yeah,
like
I didn't remember if Montmorency was there, but
I'm
I
sure
don't
she
remember.
would have too if she was there, probably.
Yeah.
But because I know at the time we confirmed that what's her name, Momo Montmorency or whatever,
Montmorency.
has broken up with Guiche at the time.
Understandably so.
Understandably so. So they're technically broken up right now, and so
They're on a break.
quote unquote break. We know how it's gonna go. So
God
so
damn it.
so yeah, they like see the new people come to town. This is like immediately after that morning where Saito, you know, after the dancing festival together or whatever, the party the night before, the morning of, he's trying to like hook up with her on the bed. So he's in like fucking I love Louise mode and is like trying to get her to forgive him by like acting more like a dog than usual, like comedically. And she's just literally ignoring him to look at the Viscount. And he's just getting really fucking jealous. And like these next 2 volumes are just him being really fucking jealous of the Viscount. Which at times is funny, and just because of how cool the Viscount is presented sometimes, until later on, which I'll bring up. But and then other times it's just kind of sad because of how like it affects Saito. So you know, but
We haven't gotten there yet, have we?
haven't gotten where. I'm referring specifically to the Viscount being a groomer. He hardcore feels like a groomer to me.
So
He's good,
I mean,
he's
it's
good behind
only-
the sus
it's-
among us meter.
according
it's
to
only
the
the parts where he's like, "Oh, I'll always see you as a little child," but also
Yeah.
you're my fiance, and I'm not breaking that up at all.
I'm
And
just
also, if you're in love with somebody else who's actually your age, I'm going to get highly jealous and
Yeah.
pull you away.
like all that, and then like him groping her while they're riding on the Griffin together. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ.
It's not he's kinda, he is.
Yes, yeah, okay. He is a
Oh, no.
groomer,
Okay,
okay.
Andy, now don't try to justify it.
Well,
I'm
now,
not justifying it. I hate Count Lawrence.
Nice.
well, now, him being a groomer
all I-
makes sense because since the moment I saw him, instant I don't trust this guy vibes. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
So
I said
I
Snyder.
also-
Snyder was like, he looks
I just want to
sus.
point out that I think that the manga is a bit misrepresentative of his age visually.
okay.
I'm pretty sure in the light novel there's only a 6-year difference. So if she's
What?
16, he would be 22.
Wow, he definitely did not
I
look
know.
like that.
I know.
50 something.
I
No,
will say,
Sus.
I will say,
In the light novel, she was 10 and he was 16.
oh my god.
So
So
That's still
I
not good, but way better.
I will say though, he looks old as shit in the manga, and then when I saw a picture of him again from the anime, I'm like, he doesn't even look like that mustache and beard or whatever is real. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's actually on him. It looks like it's fake in the anime. And so
So,
yeah. So go
this
on.
is just shonen logic, where once you're over 20, you're ancient.
I wonder what happened to Senpai. I wonder if he's still out there. Looking down on us from the retirement home.
oh my god.
Ooh.
So
Pie.
So the Viscount has been sus ever since the beginning. The secret mission
I always said he was sus.
has not been a secret since the moment it was talked about, okay? Guiche immediately hears about it. They go out. The Viscount is like leading them on the journey, so it's Guiche, Saito, Louise, and the Viscount going out.
And Verdande. Don't forget Verdande.
Donde? Oh, the Verdande, the
Yeah.
the
The
mole. The mole familiar of Guiche, who we meet at the beginning, and then immediately say, all right, we're going to Albion, so he can't come with us. It's like, oh, okay. All right. Based? Just wanted to, the author's just like, listen, now's the time to show fans, hey, this is Guiche's familiar, because we haven't shown that off yet, right?
A mole.
Is a giant mole who also, like, very quickly after showing up, also starts groping Louise.
Yeah.
That one was more justified in the. It was more justified because it wanted the jewel that she was just given, the ruby ring from Henrietta. But I'm reading this like, okay, author, nice excuse, I guess. I see what you're doing, but
Can't fool me.
But I mean, I'm assuming it's
one
also.
step ahead.
I'm assuming it's also trying to set up something for later with that familiar coming back, although I don't remember how it would be brought back based on what happened in the anime. I don't remember how it's brought back, if at all, but I would assume it has something to do with them coming back to not Albion and some. What is their Tristane, right?
They're in Tristane and they're traveling. They're in Tristane on the continent of Halkaginia and they're traveling to the continent of Albion, which has the country Albion on it.
Yes. Okay. And Albion, there's a joke also within these volumes where Saito doesn't realize Albion is a sky continent. Nobody tells him that directly. They're just like, you know what the deal is with Albion, right? He's like, no. I don't. And then just nobody explains it.
And nobody explains it.
And the whole time he's like, why the fuck are we climbing a mountain? Why would we go to a mountain if we're going to port at sea or whatever? And like it's very clear to us that like it's an airport or whatever with airships going to like a sky continent. But you didn't think when they were climbing a mountain that was weird that they were going to a dock?
No, I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
I think they did mention it
I
was a
was so-
sky city, but it was like really vague, like early on.
All I remember was they showed up to like the tree at the top of the mountain and Saito was still fucking confused at what was going on. I'm like, really, dude? Yeah.
I think he was confused like up until Louise pointed it out when they were on the ship. And she was like, yeah, look at those clouds. And he's like, what the fuck? And that's when he got it. They were on their way there, probably about halfway there before he learned.
I was Saito. That was me. For
Yeah.
real.
That was you.
So meanwhile we got this developing love story-ish between Princess Henrietta and the Prince of Wales of Albion. Henrietta and the Prince of Wales, where the love letter, it's not, they don't read it, but it's pretty clear that, or the letter that they need to swap out is a love letter that Henrietta sent to the prince a while ago. But she is now engaged to the Prince of Germania? Is that correct?
Somebody in Germanian royalty.
Somebody in Germania, who at the beginning, they are establishing like racism towards Germania about like them all being barbaric or whatever. I was like, why? What is, all right. Like Kirke is right there. So.
I don't like that, considering she's the only darker skinned character.
Yeah.
They bring her up and they're like, her barbaric country. It's like,
Henrietta, it's like I think it was like Louise being like, that country's so barbaric, and Henrietta's like, I know, but still, we have to for the peace of the nation. Okay, all right, but
As you do.
So, this whole thing is supposed to be an arranged marriage to help form an alliance before rebellions happen to eliminate their like allies in this conflict that's going on. The conflict was that some of the nobles wanted to correct me if I'm wrong about this. The nobles wanted to usurp the people running some of these Halkaginia countries.
Yeah, Halkaginian royalty.
They wanted to overthrow them and establish like their own like global thing. Is that right? Or okay, so they're trying to do that.
So I think Turandot mentioned this a little bit when he was drawing the like real life parallels, but basically there's this group referred to as the Reconquista, who wants to overthrow all Halkaginian royal families, starting with Albion, so that they can unite all of Halkaginia and then hopefully take over what they refer to as the Holy Land. And I don't remember if the Holy Land was talked about a whole lot in the manga. But I don't think it was. But the Holy Land is currently occupied by elves. So they would go through the effort of engaging in war with the elves so that they could take over, like, the Holy Land or whatever.
Okay.
What the frick? I didn't know about that. I don't know anything about this extended world.
Well, no, because you were talking about the comparison of the Holy Land to, like, Israel, I think. The Holy
Yeah.
Land was mentioned in the manga at this point, right?
It has been.
No.
Yeah, I have it in my
Okay.
Wait,
no
it
no.
has?
It was mentioned
same
once. I have
thing.
it in my notes that was like their plan. Their plan was like unite the unify the nations and reclaim the Holy Land or something like that. I have it
Yeah.
in my notes
Oh, the
somewhere.
Crusades. Okay, so yeah. That was like one panel in the last chapter of 21 or
Yeah.
volume 4.
Yeah, it was like once so
Yeah.
far.
Okay.
And that group would be the Reconquista people, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, so that would make sense. So they're planning that. Albion is pretty much fucked by the point that at the time that like they get there, it's fucked pretty much. Wales and the rest of them are like, okay, well we got like this final fight tomorrow that we know we're gonna lose, but we're gonna do it anyways for honor. So we're just gonna honorably lose. But before that, we're gonna party, I guess. So they're just planning to die pretty much, and Louise and Saito are like trying to convince him, like, why would you do that? Why don't you leave? He's like, no, can't do it. You wouldn't get it. And pretty much. I don't know.
Can't do it. The stars aren't right.
Can't do it. This has to be done. This has to be done. And it's like, okay, I can
But
understand.
Why, though?
I can understand having to give up on Henrietta because, you know, the arranged a marriage thing, and you don't want it to leak about your love for each other or whatever. Okay, I can understand that. I don't understand just kind of dying when you know you're gonna lose like that, but whatever, you know. I mean,
I blame Justin and the Romans. I definitely think Justin is a big reason why.
Justin, my good friend of the stream,
so
Justin. or-
Justin, well, both actually. It's a pun.
Oh, damn.
So back in the day of the Romans or the Byzantine Empire, you had an emperor named Justinian,
Oh, okay.
right? And I think he really started this for honor thing, where you could die as a king or die as a commoner. And a lot of times, because they're royalty, they'd rather die as a king than live as a commoner or like escape. Because if they escape, they're no longer royalty anymore. They just become a regular peasant. So I guess he
Well,
wants to die as royalty. So that's
and
the more cynical answer.
the idea of dying for honor was something that was present in like some early like Japanese things,
Bushido?
right? Sorry. I yeah.
Are you okay? Are you trying not to spoil things, or are you trying not to say
No,
certain
no,
things
I'm
on
not-
stream? What's going on here?
I am trying to make the argument that I think that dying for honor was something that was common in like pre-modern Japan, but I'm not familiar enough with the history to say for sure, especially not what era of pre-modern Japan that would be. So I didn't want to say anything and then have people be like, fuck you, you
Oh,
don't know
no.
Japanese history.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're trying to say, and I probably like, you know, mostly agree with it. I think it's just in the context of what's going on here. I'm just looking at like the prince dude looks like a child, and like everybody else is like just listening to, like, I understand he's the prince or whatever, and he seems pretty like he can be in command of like a ship or whatever, but I don't know about you guys. If some fucking 14-year-old said, all right, guys, we're gonna all fight and die tomorrow, I'd say, fuck that shit, I'm out of here.
Based. You know, I just realized this is literally the plot of Mega Man X4.
Oh,
No honor.
of course it is, of course. You know, I mean, it
That
always
is
goes
your
back.
only
Lay down
frame
your
of
arms.
reference.
Listen, you got
Let's do this
Roman, you got
fifth
Roman history,
game.
or you got Mega Man X. Which one are you gonna, you know?
You know what? I
X
trust the
early.
Mega Man X more.
Same, I trust Mega Man X.
based. So, in their journey to get to Albion, we're dealing with like mercenaries that were hired by the sculptor, and so we have this like mass dude that broke her out. I don't remember fuck all about this character in the anime, but the entire time, especially when they mentioned a wind mage broke her out right after we were just introduced to the Viscount, who is a wind mage, I'm like, oh, it's that dude. But then we had several scenes. Where they're both like in the scene at the same time. So I'm like, oh, so
Allegedly.
I wrote in my notes too. I'm like, oh, so then it can't be him because they're both there at the same time. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, the guy that Saito fought like didn't say anything, and the author made it a point to show like ... like it's not actually saying anything, and then he just kind of disappears. So I'm like, oh, this is probably some fucking puppet or some shit, right? I don't know for sure, but the Viscount, I don't trust him at all. We have this whole thing where he's definitely a groomer.
Saito said he was sus.
Yeah,
Saito himself said he was sus.
well,
But, you know.
well, Saito saying that is mostly just him being jealous too. But he says at some point that he's like, well, the Viscount is kind of cool, but I just don't like him with fucking Louise or whatever. When he finds out about the arranged marriage, he's like, that's fucking weird. And also, it scares him too, because if she gets married, what the fuck happens to him? Like he's staying with her because he's her familiar, but he feels like, if she gets married, he's probably going to get kicked to the curb, maybe. Meanwhile, he doesn't have a way to go home. We have a whole scene where he's on a balcony, very depressed at, whatever's going on, like, with Louise, being like, I don't know what's going to happen with that. And then she comes out and talks to him. I like the conversations that they have, because it seems like, she was opening up to him. He was up to her at first about, like, how he's like, I'm crying because, like, I want to go home. We haven't done anything about that. I wasn't really thinking about that for a while because, I like, he's more focused on being with Louise, especially after that dance party where, like, he very much, like, really fell hard for her. But now he's like, well, if she's going to get married to somebody else, I don't know why the fuck I'm here. So now I'm just depressed that, like, I'm probably not gonna be able to go home either. And she's, like, promising, like, don't worry, I'll find a way for you to get home. But that ends with them, like, fighting over just not being able to read each other's thoughts or whatever. Like, Louise is very much doing the tsundere thing of, like, yeah, I'm in this arranged marriage. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know, Saito. Maybe, I'm just gonna do it. How's that make you feel? He's like, yeah, I guess just do it. What else can I do? Because he's being like a wimp at that point or whatever after losing a fight with him. And she's like, wow, fuck you then for not speaking up about it. Okay, you're not gonna stop this, asshole. Like,
Imagine.
Like, I mean, that's like classic tsundere kind of thing to do where it's like, okay, very clearly trying to signal to him, like, I like you and I want you to say something to stop this. And he's like, well, I'm not a noble. I'm a fucking commoner. The guy made me feel like shit by beating me in front of you. I don't feel like I can protect you at all. That's a thing that kept being brought up, especially after the fight with the Viscount. So the Viscount is definitely trying to be like, all right, this familiar, we gotta separate that relationship as much as fucking possible. Can't have that shit going on. So we have some emotional scenes, and I do enjoy the emotional scenes, but they are pretty, like, standard, like, tsundere kind of interactions, so.
It's interesting, though.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
I think on Vardes, there's something interesting that you mentioned about his theory of being the man behind the mask.
Yeah.
Because I never formally connected the two, especially with the Wind Mage. But my first thought seeing the man in the mask was Alexander Dumas' story of the man in the iron mask. There's a king, he made a prisoner and he put a mask over his face, which is heavily connected to the Count of Monte Cristo. So when you put that, it's starting to connect random dots, and it was just very interesting to see that.
I see.
We're one chapter away from the reveal.
Oh my god. Damn, spoilers.
Analytical that Familiar of Zero deserves.
What did you want us to do this week? Did you want us to be like, wow, this was a manga. All right, bye, guys. What do you have to say? What do you want to say? Tell us how you feel, because it sounds like you really hate the manga right now. What's going on in your end?
It's a thing.
See, now you're scared. You think we're gonna attack you all at once. It's pretty much.
I will.
It's pretty much Anne.
It's just a thing. Like, the plot's going.
It's going.
Did I put? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm still just I guess not confused, but just surprised at the structure of it, because I went in thinking it would be more of a typical harem structure, and it's not.
Well, it is doing the kind of Kirito thing where literally every woman he ever interacts with instantly falls in love with them. Henrietta, gonna kiss her on the lips. All right, now she's blushing every time she thinks of me.
But Fouquet did not, which is more credit than something like Black Clover could do.
And also,
it has that.
Listen, the author still has time. The author still has time. Don't worry.
God damn it.
They're not eliminated yet.
No, don't forget her. She didn't do anything with.
Tabitha is. I feel like, right now is not the time for Tabitha to Tabitha or
Do
Kirke,
anything.
really. Kirke at this point, I think, didn't really have an arc yet, but I remember, there was the scenes where she actively tried to fuck Saito, and that seems like that's just been either cut from this or it's way further out or whatever. But it seemed like there was a lot more stuff that was going to develop between Saito and Kirke's relationship. In this, it just feels like she just shows up, rubs her tits in his face, and then calls him darling, and then says "fuck you, Louise," and then I don't know.
All right, is that not all you need?
So
The
we're at
barbarian.
the point where I don't want to be bringing in the anime too much because we've gotten to the point where it is deviating.
Yeah.
Enough for it to be noticeable. But Kirke also didn't have an arc in the manga, and you didn't get that far, chat. But in all 4 seasons, I'm pretty sure she disappeared for just
oh, you're talking about the
half the
anime?
show.
Oh my god, Jesus.
Yes, for Kirke doesn't get an arc at all. So more things about the dark skinned characters not getting development because Tabitha gets an arc. Obviously the story is about Louise, Saito. Siesta gets an arc.
Wow.
The maid.
Yeah.
Henrietta. Oh god, there was in the fucking anime there was a hot spring scene with Henrietta later on.
Oh
in the
yeah,
series.
I remember that.
So yeah, Kirke just gets fuck all. I'm so sorry to break it to you. So maybe
Damn.
it's different in the manga, but
I fucking hope so. I mean, so far she hasn't done shit in the manga except be like, "Oh, darling," I don't know, but in volume 3, they join in on the secret mission too. I don't know if we explained this to stream. They just kind of show up in the middle of the mission when they're getting attacked by mercenaries. They show up on Tabitha's dragon.
Now they still technically don't know what the mission is for.
Yes,
they're just
They just
there.
show up.
They just heard it's a secret mission, and they were like, "Ooh, we want in."
Yeah, Kirke's
Kirke was like, "Ooh, we want in." Tabitha's still in her fucking pajamas.
Yeah, Kirke's like, "Where's the Viscount going? I gotta follow him." Tabitha, wake up! So Tabitha's showing up there in her pajamas with the wind dragon, taking out the mercenaries. And the Viscount was doing I think he just blocked a couple of the arrows or whatever, and then he was like, "All right, I don't know if I can do anything else." And then Tabitha showed up. So, I mean,
Tabitha doing the most work here. Apparently.
Listen, carrying, And then now towards the end of volume 4, we're saying we have to leave Guiche, Kirke, and Tabitha to.
Yeah, we're getting 2 of the best characters.
They have to stay back to distract all the mercenaries and fuck. How do you pronounce her name again? Fouquet. They have to prevent Fouquet from chasing after them. And even when they do that, Fouquet is just yeah, that was kind of a part of our plan anyways. We wanted you guys to split up. That's where, again, I think to myself, oh, so the Viscount is definitely a part of their crew because he's the one who told them we should split up and do this or whatever. So, I mean, I guess them splitting up does make sense because, they would need some kind of distraction for them to get away in that situation. But also, I don't know. Like I said, I've been suspect of the Viscount for a very long while. Ever since I saw the flashback scene of him on the boat with Louise, looking no different in age than he does today. So
yeah.
So we have this situation happening where they go on the airship. They're heading there. They don't have enough magic stones to fly the ship at the time. So the Viscount says, "Oh, don't worry. I'll just use my magic instead of those." I'm thinking to myself, you could do that? You could just power a ship with your wind magic? Is it really that crazy? Oh my god! But then he's like, my griffin can't take us there. It's too far, and we'd have to fly up. It can fly down because it's just gliding down, but it can't fly up that long distance, I guess. Which I guess would make sense. But the ship, apparently he can use his magic in place of the stones so the ship can fly. So they pay extra for the crew to leave earlier than they were supposed to. They head there.
I was so confused by the arrangement that they made because Wards is offering to fly your ship,
Yep.
and you're just like, oh, you still got to pay extra for that.
Well, they said like we have sulfur shipments on here that I don't, maybe it was something like you'd have to pay extra because if this ship gets fucked, then all that money for that gets fucked too. But I'm thinking to myself, if the ship crashes, you're all dead. So who fucking cares? I don't know.
Or
I don't know. I don't understand it either.
I don't know. I really did not understand the arrangement that they made, and it wasn't any clearer in the light novel. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing it up.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why exactly they were told, hey, you have to pay more, but it didn't matter anyways, because as soon as they started sailing away, a pirate ship showed up. So, wow. So a pirate ship shows up. The Viscount can't do anything when they show up because he's like, I'm using all of my magic to hold up the ship, so I can't do anything. The pirates show up.
You can't do shit either. You got a sword. Sorry.
Yeah, he got injured, and he's still fucking sad about getting his ass kicked by the Viscount in the fight. By the way, that fight was like him being like, all right, I have a sword, I have my magic runes or whatever. He knows I'm the legendary Gandalf or whatever the fuck you're supposed to pronounce it. And he's like, okay, I could still beat him though. And then the Viscount's like, no, I'm just going to block it with my wand. Literally just block a sword with my wand because I'm just that good.
As you do.
And I'm just going to kick your ass. And I think he did like one spell towards the end that took him out. I'm not sure if those were just sound effects though. But he gets his ass kicked, and then he's really depressed about it because it happened in front of Louise especially, and the sword's trying to like comfort him about it, and he's like, shut the fuck up, and he like puts him back in his sheath or whatever.
Durf is best character. I don't care about any of the rest of these fuckers. I could watch an entire anime about Durf, honestly. No, I think in the fight on the ship, the argument that he was given, at least by oh wait, no, that was a different scene.
Go
I
on.
read the manga, guys, I swear.
Did you? Are you sure?
Well, yeah, because the argument was that he's injured, which was really funny because you see the arm later, and it's like it doesn't actually look that bad. But Louise wraps a single strand of her shirt around it, and it's not great, but it's all better. In the light novel, they specified like, oh, it was like this blistering burn, like it was like really bad in the light novel, and then in the manga, it was just like, I kind of singed my skin, guys. I can't fight with my sword anymore, guys. My jacket tore. Guess I can't fight.
I mean, look. A man is as powerful as their drip.
Well, Louise was like, every time she's like, as soon as she finds out he's got burns, she's like really trying to like take care of him, like motherly mode or whatever. She's like, oh my god, we gotta wrap your up your wounds or whatever. I gotta get a water potion. We gotta find a water mage for you immediately to treat these burns or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I mean that's kind of cute, but like also at the same time, he's just like, fuck off, I'm fine, leave me alone. Because he's like
being a little bitch.
Yeah, he's being like, especially after the duel, he became a wimp for like the remainder of these volumes, pretty much. I mean, he started trying to fight back towards the end against the masked man. By the way, can you clarify? It looked like in that fight the sword was charging up some spell, but then it sounded like he just blocked a spell. What happened in that fight? Did he block a spell, or was the sword doing something? Because it sounded like
Spoilers
Durf was
for the
saying
next
something.
chapter.
Okay, all right. Because it sounded like Durf was saying something was happening. Also sounded like he was trying to explain something to Saito before he was rudely shoved back into his sheath. So I'm assuming it's related to that. But I couldn't tell.
Actually, if you saw the screenshot that I posted, Durf doesn't know because they don't know where his head is, so they don't know how to figure out where his memories are. Running joke, Durf doesn't remember, basically. Currently.
I see. You know, I wish we had more screen time for Durf in the manga. We don't have nearly as much as we did when I was watching the anime. I remember the anime, his scenes were like a lot funnier and like a lot more there. And I remember it was a much bigger conflict over Saito even thinking about choosing Kirke's sword over Louise's sword or whatever. So I don't know. Okay.
He hasn't said oi again. You know, it's been a bit. Hold on a second.
Are you doing an oi count for Durf? Is that what this is?
Of course.
Dirk is the
Go
only
so
character
far.
I care about.
Yeah, because I wrote in my notes during that fight that the lightning cloud I think was said or like
Yes.
was the spell
Mhm.
or whatever, and I was thinking to myself like, is this Durf doing something or was this like them blocking that from the masked man? I was confused at what happened. It sounded like they had at least assumed that he had blocked a spell, but I don't know. We'll find out what happens later with that.
That's what I was groaning about earlier, because the light novels, in order to finish the second light novel, I had to read the chapter that is going to be the next chapter in the manga. Because unlike the manga, the light novel ends like cleanly at the arc, and the manga doesn't. So we have to start volume 5 in order to figure out the conclusion to that arc. So I'm sitting here like, oh, in order to finish volume 2 of the light novel, I just read ahead and I'm like, there's so much stuff.
Right.
I want to talk about it.
Now,
I do.
what we do also have, we have the Viscount and Louise. We already knew they were engaged, but towards the end of volume 4, right before, you know, the night before the Albion boys are going to fight to their death pretty much, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, me and Louise are just going to get married tomorrow. So would you like to come to the wedding? He's like, fuck no, I don't want to come to the wedding. I'm getting out of here. And then like there's a whole interaction with him and Louise, and it's again another kind of tsundere moment. She shows up with a water potion that she found for him. And she's ready to like treat his wounds with it, and he's giving her like an attitude the whole time about like her marriage or whatever. And I had wrote down some things about it. What did I say? Dinah finds Louise crying. Then she hugs him. She's sad about Wales and Henrietta when she finds out that Wales is pretty much, you know, going to give up his love for Henrietta for the good of the Alliance. And, you know, that fact that he's also going to die pretty much tomorrow. So she's very sad about that. Sad that she couldn't convince him. Saito had just tried to convince him right before meeting up with Louise here, I believe. So then she's trying to, like, treat him with the water potion. But he, like, is still being a wimp, and he's being like, I'm just a normal commoner from like another world. I can't protect you, like being a wimp again. And she's pretty much had it. So she slaps him across the fucking face with the potion, and the potion goes on the ground and shit and breaks. And he's like she's very angry at how much of a wimp he keeps fucking being. She's like calling him a coward, saying, you're such a moron. I hope you die. I hate you. And he's like, all right, goodbye, Louise, my sweet, beautiful master, or something like that. And she's like, she's having a tsundere tangent again where she's clearly trying to say, can you like stop being a wimp and tell me not to go through with the marriage, so that because like I like you and I want to be with you instead, like those kind of vibes are going on. And he's just being a bitch still, so he doesn't want to do anything to stop the marriage. He's just accepting that he's lost to the Viscount pretty much. So we have this big fight at the very end of volume 4. And it sounds like we're going to be reaching the climax of this arc that's been going on for the last 2 volumes pretty quickly in the next volume, I'm sure. And then we will see how that progresses. Now, we also I had a couple notes related to the afterwards that happened. Afterward 3 was them being like, yeah, so I suck at tech, but I bought a new computer. And I'm assuming this would be back in like 2006 or whatever. And they're like, so I bought a new computer. And she's like calling, this is the artist in the manga, saying like, I had to call several people for help. I tried just plugging in random shit into sockets and somehow nothing worked. It's like, wow, geez, really? I wonder how. And she's just like calling somebody saying, there's nothing on the screen. And the guy's just going, what? And then it just says like, I failed to push the on button all the way. The scanner and printer don't turn on. And the guy on the phone is just like, what? Like how do you even have these problems? And she's like, oh, I forgot to plug the cord into the wall. Like,
God.
Like, I'll be real. I've had, when I worked as like an IT person for my high school for like the co-op, these are exactly the tech problems that a whole bunch of people who completely suck at tech ever always have somehow. I had this one time, I tell this story often, where I get called down to the cosmetology shop. They say they got a new printer. It doesn't work. I go there. I press the button to turn on. It doesn't turn on. Okay, first problem. It doesn't turn on. I go to check. What's it plugged into? It's plugged into an extension, like a power strip. What's the power strip plugged into? It's plugged into itself. Well, gee, I wonder why it's not turning on, guys. I wonder why it's not turning on. So I just plug it into the wall and I just pretend I'm like doing shit for like 20 minutes and they don't seem completely dumb. And I'm just like, this is the problems that we have sometimes with these. We had this one time in our shop. This isn't even like a computer tech thing. This is just in general where like we had a water fountain in the shop and at some point it stopped working. So we called the plumbing shop to come in and fix it. So a couple of students come in and they say it's fixed and they leave. Immediately go to try to use it. The button to use the water fountain is not there. So we're like, oh, so they fixed the problem by just taking out the button to use it. Problem solved. It's like, hey, there's a problem with my computer. Just unplugs the monitor. All right, no more problem. You don't see it. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was funny. Because that whole series of panels I thought was funny. And it just, it reminded me of that kind of stuff being in tech or whatever with some people. And Volume 4 was like, them continuing that, being like, yeah, so I have my printer and I started printing out like pages and I'm like, they looked better on the screen, but when I print it, it's all fucked. And all the, like, everything pretty much turned black on the paper or whatever.
The print screen. Oh no.
Yeah, they fucked something up with trying to print whatever stuff that they were working on. So also they got into Monster Hunter. So we have another author that is a gamer and is talking about the games that they're playing. So
It's a PSP too.
yeah, the PSP.
When I was doing my
Jesus.
It's pretty old, yeah.
research for the Saito stuff that I mentioned, the TV tropes page that I was reading pointed out that a lot of light novel. I trust TV tropes, okay? I trust TV tropes with my fucking life. I swear by that website. But one of the things that it had pointed out was almost like most light novel like authors pull inspiration from video games that they play. Like that is an extremely common theme.
I don't doubt that at all with every isekai being an MMO. So
so like it just hasn't surprised me that both of the last two the author has mentioned being into video games.
Right, yep. So yeah.
Japan,
what was that? Say that again?
It's also Japan though, because that is like one of the
Gamers.
home of video games. Like, what are you gonna do?
It's true. It's true. I think so. They had mentioned they played Monster Hunter, and they also had like a couple panels dedicated to like them being like, yeah, I like decorating my room with like cute like accessories, random cutesy stuff. They want to set up like a luxurious tea party one day with a maid and a dog. Of course, is what they wrote, and I think they had a picture of Saito and Siesta when they were saying that. So I'm like, okay, so so I just want to bring those up just to keep us connected with the manga author or artist themselves. There's no really afterward stuff from the actual author. I'm assuming because there's probably afterwards in the light novels that they're dealing with. So so I think we pretty much covered a lot of the stuff. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up? That they've...
I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
All right. So you mentioned that Wards could be the masked man, right?
That's my theory. But
Okay,
I
here's the
don't
thing, though. I
remember.
feel like that's impossible because, like, so, the masked man attacks Saito, right? And, grabs, what the fuck is her name again?
Louise.
No, Fouquet.
Henrietta?
Louise?
No.
No, on the
Okay.
stairs. He jumps up and grabs Louise from behind.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, I see.
If you're talking
Okay,
about that,
If he's got Louise,
No,
and
no,
then
no.
you
No,
got
no.
Saito in checkmate. Okay.
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. You were going to keep going? I didn't know what you were... I thought you were saying because they were both in the same scene, that would... Because that...
No, not the reason both in the same scene, but, like, you have Saito in checkmate, and you got Louise, grabbed. Don't you just win here?
No, because he's
that's
trying to
the case-
grift Louise into marrying him, is what it sounds like. It
needs
seems like he's trying to
yeah.
grift Louise into marrying her, like, as soon as possible.
Yeah, and then he could kill her later,
Oh.
probably.
Yeah.
For, like the social status or whatever.
Wait.
Because he's like, go ahead.
No, actually, no, I'll only continue.
Because otherwise, I just imagine as soon as he beats the shit out of Saito in the duel, why doesn't he just, take Louise there and
Oh,
do
yeah.
whatever he's planning or whatever. But it's because he's trying to like trick her or whatever into like marrying her or marrying him so that they can kill her or whatever kind of plot that they're planning is what it seems like. So I don't know. That's my theory. It's a game theory. I don't know.
It's like the Viscount is like considered a lower noble, right? You have the barons at the lowest. That's like the land barons.
Oh, I see.
Viscount, like,
Okay,
he's king of the
prestige,
mages.
I understand.
Yeah, exactly. And Luis is like from
Okay,
the
understandable.
wealthy
Okay,
family.
makes
She's like
sense.
a Marchioness or whatever. So social status or whatnot.
Oh yeah, I just
Gotcha.
remembered the Viscount is also a part of what's called the like Griffin Knights, like the Magic Guard, which is why he's like super powerful too, because he's really been trained for that. But I think about the concept of the Griffin Knights, and I'm like, wow, imagine really wanting to join the Griffin Knights, but you didn't get a Griffin familiar, and you're just fucked. Sorry, you didn't get a Griffin familiar. I know you're a pretty talented wind mage, but Tabitha, you got a wind dragon.
Oh, wait,
It's not a
hold on.
Griffin.
I just realized you gotta like also be wind mage and also get a griffin.
Yeah, well, I'm
It's
assuming if you
even
get a
worse.
dragon, it means you're a wind mage, because like a griffin or like a flying like thing, right? Do all griffins fly? I assume they would. So, I don't
Oh yeah, because they have eagle wings.
Well, not the
Yeah.
statue ones.
Well, obviously, statue ones aren't going to be your familiar.
You know what? If you try
If you
hard
get
enough, you can get the
sight on-
statue ones to
if you get
fly.
sight
You know, I mean, what do I know? Could be an
mean,
earth
if they're
familiar.
like-
No, that's no,
I want to
Yes, no, yeah.
I want to see like an emu corps or like an ostrich corps where they just like ride elephants and ostriches, and that'll be the ground based.
Yeah, I'm a
mages.
water mage. I ride my elephant into battle. That'd be
No,
pretty
no,
nice.
he's on a
Yeah,
water
an
skitter.
earth
What are you talking
mage.
about? He's on a water skitter. And on a big fish.
I mean, I am glad we're at least like, you know, exploring some of the other familiars that people can have, because, you know, we did bring up
Mole.
Geisha's mole thing, giant mole
El Dandy.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
You know, I mean, we got the wind dragon.
trio.
We have Kirke's
wind.
is like a salamander thing.
Yeah, fire salamander.
Yeah. So I like that we're
Yeah,
playing around with
salamander.
them. Kind of wish we did some more with other people having familiars. It's just like the main cast has familiars, and we don't talk about like the bad guys having familiars.
Well, because the bad guys they've run into so far haven't been nobles, is the thing.
But the thief girl used to be a noble. Wouldn't she have a familiar?
I don't know, because
Or
It-
she'd be capable of summoning one at the very least, I'd imagine.
yeah,
No, the
Yeah.
familiar's the golem. Prove me wrong.
Oh wait,
That's
yeah,
good, too.
fuck. That probably is it actually, right?
that would make sense.
Is
Yeah,
it?
because she can summon basically the same golem over and over again.
I see.
Okay, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
summon golem.
I thought it
attack
had to be an
position.
animal, but I guess yeah.
Yeah, I would have assumed it's like your familiar is
mean,
like something with
okay,
only
look.
one life and it can't just be brought back over. But maybe it's just like maybe
But,
that's why.
like,
I don't know.
If
Look,
it's
we got
if it's the
Saito,
stone
though.
if it's the stone golem that they've been working with, like sure it crumbles into stone, but you give it enough time to recover and it just gathers up all of the stones again.
Yeah, my familiar is just all of the land. You know, it can come back up at any time. It's my familiar. I actually created
My
all of
familiar is,
Halkaginia. You know,
It's Sandman from Spider-Man. Sorry.
based. Okay, so Anne, you said you had some kind of speech or presentation you had ready to prepare and give for us.
I do. Okay,
Okay.
hold on.
Ooh.
I am. Do
Oh,
not
got a bit.
interrupt me.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna read this exactly as I wrote it.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
I'm,
ready.
I'm making my exposed doc already. I'm writing it down.
Yep. Same here. Same here.
Okay. The biggest problem with my argument that Saito is a unique protagonist is that he is the example of the genre. That is, he's the oldest example of the light novel protagonist in specifically the isekai genre. Now, am I going out of my way to argue this for the sake of being a contrarian? Yes, absolutely. But that also gives me the opportunity to go further into his character. There are also a few things that still make him unique that aren't necessarily related to the isekai genre, which I will go over later. The other challenging part is that the Trapped in Another World TV tropes page specifies that the genre is succumbing to the undead horse trope. It gets its name from the phenomenon of beating a dead horse, but now parodies and the heavy subversion of typical tropes is becoming more and more popular, hence the undead horse trope. This is important because the phenomenon of the undead horse is what undermined one of my undermined one of my primary arguments. In the more recent chapters, Saito did not appear interested in Kirike's approaches, a behavior that has changed since the beginning of the manga. This is the case in some of the light novel chapters as well, where what would have earlier been an interest in her beauty was not mentioned. I saw this as a refusal of the harem and an intriguing focus of loyalty to Louise, which is not common in a lot of modern anime, especially harem in particular. However, under the light novel protagonist TV tropes page, the page also happened to include harem, quote, unwanted or otherwise, quote unquote, which immediately shoots down this argument as it includes the situation where the protagonist rejects the harem. Additionally, the page outlines that in light novels specifically, the protagonist tends to go towards one primary love interest, in this instance Louise, where this differs in shonen. I believe my personal perception of Saito's character is misconstrued because of this, since most of my experiences with the shonen protagonist, which is different from the light novel protagonist, clearly. So I'm ultimately comparing him to the wrong subset of anime protagonists. Something that I think is being glossed over by the group at large is the fact that Saito is, in fact, homesick. The reason that's important to me is that a lot of popular isekai that followed this particular formula of summoning rather than reincarnation, such as No Game No Life, they prefer their new life, which is why this subversion is so important to me and why I latch onto it. However, in reading the tropes page, something did pop up that was interesting and that I both agree and disagree with, is the fact that a lot of these more relatable traits to make him more feel human, and as the page puts it, the escapist character, is that he's considered a deuteragonist, the secondary protagonist, to Louise. On one hand, obviously, since he's supposed to be the self-insert character that give people the sense of escape, my initial reaction was to disagree with this ruling. However, upon further reflection, I think it makes sense. Although he has a lot of strong morals and is a stubborn character, he has had very little development compared to Louise. In the light novel, when Louise is saying she'd rather die than bow to the pirate guy, who we find out is Wales, Saito has a moment of introspection where it occurs to him that his refusal to bow to Guiche in the beginning has affected Louise and created this moment of being willing to stand for what she believes. This also supports the fact that the light novel protagonist is often the heart of the story, which, if you don't know, is the person that tends to hold the 3 or 5 man band team together. For example, Ron from Harry Potter would be the heart of the 3-man band. I think that may be part of why Guiche's interest in apologizing to Saito was included, as it shows Saito as the uniting force of the team. In short, I feel as though Saito's rejection of the harem's advances and his loyalty to Louise, as well as his homesickness, make him unique in the grander scheme of anime plots, but pinned down to adaptations from light novels, it's easy to see how Saito has influenced modern-day depictions of the same category of protagonists.
Wow.
The only problem is that he's rarely homesick. He
So,
mentions it
that
like
is
a
an
couple
awesome
of times
speech.
so far.
I have a couple notes. Yes, that is one thing. 2, he's only homesick the moment he realizes he can't, like, the thought comes that he can't date Louise. Like, he's only really, like, I think he even directly says, like, if Louise is with somebody else, I don't really have a reason to be here, or something to that effect. Where, like, he's only really homesick if he's not dating Louise. Maybe towards, like, the beginning he had mentioned send me back home already, but, like, you know,
That
I
was
don't
more
know.
a throwaway line, it felt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's probably, you know, like you did mention, like, you know, this is one of the earlier kind of iterations of somebody being summoned in another world. So, you know, naturally you would have that kind of line in there. Also, you know, maybe a lot of the stuff is more present in the light novels. When we're talking about the manga, him being very cliche or not unique, like in the manga at least, I don't know about all this other stuff you're bringing up about, you know, how he acts or is developed in the light novels specifically, because I haven't read the light novels. Maybe he is more unique in the light novels, but the manga does not feel like it. At least that's how I would argue it. And the other one I wrote down, you said he doesn't reject the harem. Did you say he rejects the harem or he doesn't reject the harem? Which
I was saying in more recent chapters, and that was a couple of the images that I had sent you when I was making the PowerPoint. In the more recent chapters, his loyalty and interest in pursuing Louise as a partner has made him reject, like, Kirike's advances, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't even know if that's necessarily true. We still have quite a few panels where he's actively rubbing his face in her tits, or like, I don't know.
In Kirike's.
Yeah.
I thought that was her forcing herself on him.
In most of the scenes, except for like the one towards the end where he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna crash" or whatever, and that was just like when he had literally like just had some argument with Louise or was about to have an argument with Louise or something like that. Like, That, I think, was the one time he was like, I'm not dealing with Kirke being horny towards me right now. I think as even in the beginning of Volume 3, it was like, oh, Louise isn't paying attention to me. I guess I'll just hook up with Kirke instead. And then the joke was Kirke actually wants the Viscount too and is ignoring him for the Viscount as well.
That was definitely a joke.
So I mean, at the very least, you know, there's a couple references to him being like, you know what, being with Kirke, it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe like for Tabitha, because Tabitha hasn't done anything towards him yet, other than I think one scene in volume like 2 or 1 or something like that, where like they were all grouped together surrounding him. Siesta definitely wants him. We haven't had that many scenes with him and her to be able to say how he feels about her specifically, I don't think. But then he also just flat out kisses Henrietta in front of Louise. And I feel like, you know, even if you think this is like a cultural thing, if you were really trying to be loyal to Louise, I don't think you would ever like be doing that. But I don't know.
No. It turns out Sai was just Italian, actually.
Oh, true. Yeah, that must be it.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I do think there's a little bit. Wait, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, this isn't to like completely like say fuck your entire essay or whatever. This is just like the things that come to my head when I hear some of the stuff you were citing. Most of it seems like it was like, I don't know if it was like more talking about light novels or something. I heard a lot of TV tropes citing things with like light novel writing. But I don't know.
The funny thing is that the TV tropes page isn't separated by media. So
Right.
all of the tropes that it was listing, yeah, no, exactly. So it was like kind of a little shot in the dark, and you would have to open the spoilers to be like, oh, is this from the manga? Is this the light novel, or is this the anime? Honestly, the biggest thing that I had latched onto in regards to that was the deuteragonist part, that I thought was interesting.
I would assume most of the TV tropes would be from the anime, since that would
Or
be
the
the most
TV, yeah.
popular.
Well, I think they go through all. They go through both medias because they like coalesce all the readers
Yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah,
Well-
there'd be less people who would read the light novel and stuff. Like there's just
No, that's fair. And there is a substantial bit on the manga. The other hard part is that the light novel and the manga, honestly, are like exactly the same. It's the anime that's the weird one here. The only reason I mention the light novel so much is because it gives additional insight that is not in the manga, that I wish was in the manga, because it makes the characters like a little more relatable. Like that scene that I mentioned with where Louise was like shaking in front of Prince of Wales, like trying to be like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground for this. But I did not put a whole lot of like, I didn't cite things in
All right, that's fine.
this, so
Okay. So that's great. You wrote a whole essay about it. I think at some point you were attempting to do a PowerPoint of it. I have a counter presentation, okay?
oh
This is,
god,
this is an
okay.
interactive presentation. I would like you all to open up YouTube, and I would like you to search up most cliche anime
Interactive?
scene and tell me what's the first result, because I see what the first result is.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, Your Honor, I mean, don't watch the scene because it's spoilers for
Spoilers,
things.
yeah.
But
Yeah, on Incognito.
Yeah, same.
Um,
I don't know. I'm reminded of a quote by a small fiction, which is,
Which one is this one?
it's a scene with the Viscount and other
Yeah.
things, so but it's you know, a big Saito moment. I gotta say.
The first
but-
thing I got was Fullmetal Alchemist.
Really?
You know.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
it could just be your Google search history, but on like
I'm on
incognito.
Incognito. What are you talking about?
I don't know. When
Okay.
when I search it, it's like the top result, and I just thought that was funny. I don't actually have like
Reddit,
a whole
yeah.
presentation. I just thought that was funny. As like Saito's not cliche at all. He's not
We
cheesy.
haven't
He's.
even gotten there yet.
I feel like we're
I
about
wasn't
to get.
including that in my argument. No, we are.
I feel like we're about to get there though, but
That's also the scene where it reveals like Derflinger's powers and stuff. So
yeah, I wasn't even. I watched like 2 seconds of the clip, and I was like, okay, I shouldn't watch this yet. I mean, I've already seen it, but I don't
You've seen
remember a
it.
lot of it, so I don't want to like spoil it myself or whatever. So I closed it afterwards. But I thought that was funny. Like I searched that up, and that was the first result. So, good presentations all around, gotta
Sorry,
say.
after that is Dragon Ball Z, and then that.
What happens in Dragon Ball? I can't imagine anything cliche ever happening in Dragon Ball. No, not at all. You mean he gets another form? What? You mean he gets even stronger? What? What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So,
I don't know. Maybe just my YouTube being weird. Canadian YouTube, am I right, boys?
it's true, actually. Canada might be a factor in
Very
that.
true.
This is the most cliche according to Canada. They think what did you say,
Hold on,
Gundam?
quick,
So
quick. Yeah, what's it like in Italy, huh? Anyone know?
does it look like in Italy? I don't know. Hold on, let me
I
load up
just
NordVPN, our stream sponsor.
Yeah.
Actually, no,
just
I'm sorry,
think
ExpressVPN. This
Saito-
is your Taku sponsor.
Saito is a little guy, and he deserves more respect than you guys are giving him.
Listen, I think he's a funny dude. I also think
Me
every
too.
character in this is very cliche. They're like all very stereotypical, and I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but this like especially if you look at it as the lens of this is from 2006, so it's like okay, I mean.
This is
Nowadays,
before
when you're
most of
looking
the-
back,
yeah.
yeah, especially a lot of the isekai like related, like Another World, Overpowered, Otaku. From, I mean, I don't even know if he'd be like considered a super otaku, but he's like modern day Japan dude brought to a fantasy world, and has a harem, is overpowered. Like, yeah, I mean, sure, when you look back to like, okay, when it was back in 2006. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure that kind of stuff, introducing like new kind of things with some of these characters, is probably why the light novels blew up. But when we look at it today, it seems cliche as fuck. That's all I kind of
It does.
really think.
Also, sorry, Turando, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I was gonna go rant. Okay, the evolution of light novels and manga just as a whole is just so fascinating because like even rereading this, I still feel like it's a brand new story, right? Because if you look at it, I think we've gotten to the point of light novels and manga where we see it from the perspective of cliches and tropes. But if you like really like analyze it, right? Like if we want to get real with Familiar of Zero, like Saito is this alien, right? He's basically just an alien from another world. You could even say he's like an undocumented immigrant of that sort. So he's like, if you think of it like from that perspective, where he just has no
He's
knowledge
an
of this
illegal
other world.
immigrant. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I think
You're
so.
telling me he's an illegal immigrant?
Yeah, he kind of is, right? He has no status. He's a commoner. And if he didn't have special powers, he'd kind of be a nobody. So it's like, it's just so interesting to see this type of story where it's like, you have a random guy from another world who has no knowledge of like this other isekai world, right? And the fact they even speak the same language is kind of a coincidence or whatever, magic, something like that. And then, you kind of see that character adapt to that
It turns
isekai.
out
That's what
Saito's
makes,
actually French.
yeah, well, actually. And you're really making me think here. It could be. Well, actually, no. They're in France. Saito speaks French. Okay, that makes sense. But it's like it's so interesting to see like how the genres even evolved, right? Um, like he's a commoner, technically speaking. He has like no social status compared to everyone else, right? We only see two commoners in this whole story: Siesta and Saito. The rest are all nobles, right?
And
Which
the
is why
cooks, we see
kinda like,
the cooks all like him because they're all commoners too.
Hey, we have to
really?
cook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they like call him like
But,
their
like, yeah,
sword because they're all commoners and they look up to him.
Oh, okay. But it just feels like this
That
is like a very private school stuff and like
that
aristocratic
was
story.
another thing when I was looking at the trope page is it's so the page that I was looking at that related to Saito specifically was the like typical light novel protagonist. And then underneath that, it breaks down a bunch of like subsets of light novel protagonists. And I think the part that stuck out to me the most was the fact that there was a comment about how a lot of times the person, like the protagonist, will be sort of like the underdog. They won't necessarily be respected until they show this really extraordinary power, at which point they like jump up in the ranks or in like social status, and they become like super popular, which I think is pretty typical for nowadays. I don't think that ever happens here. Because Saito, even though technically he is magical in some way, he is considered a commoner throughout like the entire thing. Although that there are people that, you know, come to like him, he never really gains like that social status raise that is often associated with a lot of other light novel protagonists. Which obviously, you know, when I'm trying to fucking argue that Saito has unique components, that's what I'm gonna latch onto, is the fact that that is a component that he lacks.
Yeah, it's like trope subversion with like Shield Hero or Arif Huerta. That was a big deal, I think 2018 or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, I look at Saito and I'm like, this dude shows up, gets a harem, has overpowered things, but like he also, like, the moment he gets any kind of like sense of like, you know, I am actually not hot shit, he just becomes like a weak fucking wimpy sobbing mess. And that stuff happens in like almost all the isekais I've seen, where like, you know, they get the overpowered ability and then somebody slaps the shit out of them, and then this happens like every arc in ReZero. That's like every arc.
There was a line in the anime that is probably one of my most favorite lines of the anime. We're following the duel and Saito is having like his moment out on the balcony. Louise comes out and is like, I get it. You're a guy. It bugs you. And I wish that had been included in the manga, because I think it's such just like that scene was important, because I think that it highlights Louise like being acknowledging of his feelings, but the line, you're a guy, it bugs you, would have been so funny, because it's just a massive dismissal of his feelings because it hurt his male ego.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a whole like weird masculinity thing going on, where like the Viscount is instilling to Saito like you're too weak to protect her, you can't protect her, and it's like, bro, he only just yesterday found out there might be a war coming. Like, I don't think we thought too hard about like having to fight to the death for like, I mean, like we fought Golem and all that, but like, I don't know. I never really got the sense that he thought like that he has to constantly protect Louise. She's very fragile. She's gonna fucking die if he's not there or whatever. But the Viscount really tried to instill, I mean, intentionally so, right? Because he's trying to make him feel like shit. But he's like really trying to instill to him like, you can't protect her. These Mercedes are showing up and attacking her. And it's another thing. It's like, Saito, you haven't been able to do shit to protect her for like 2 volumes now, except for when Durfling did something to the masked man. So you like, you know, we just have these kind of things where I'm just like, the Viscount and Saito just having this like weird macho battle. Meanwhile, the Viscount's already engaged to Louise, so it's like L plus ratio plus you suck at fighting. Like, I don't.
It sounds like teenagers, though. It's like a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old get into a fight.
And you say he is supposed to be 16, right? So.
No, he's just 6 years older than Louise.
Oh,
so at the time, so the flashback that she had in the boat when she was 10, he was 16. So now that she's 16, he would be 22 by light novel logic.
Light novel logic. The best kind of logic, you know? I mean.
Okay, also.
That was called math.
Okay, absolutely, completely unrelated. And this might be something that you have to cut out, chat.
What?
But
we're doing this live. What do you mean? We're doing this live.
What you were saying about the the 12 and 16-year-old like behavior made me think of something that I had mentioned. I was talking with my mom and my brother one night about the end of summertime rendering and the fact that we were trying to figure out like why the fuck Shide would do what he did, because it felt very stupid. And my mom was like, well, was he acting juvenile throughout the series, which was so weird because he's like fucking 3,000 years old. It felt very, and she was like, yeah, like this weird like temper tantrum that he's having, like it feels very juvenile, like he's, you know, fucking 12, 13 years old and he's having like this big fit. And I was like, no, that was the thing, was it felt so out of character for him. Like he hadn't had this very strong emotional reaction to things leading up to this. He was very cold. He was very calculated. So that's why it was so weird. Anyway, the only word that made me think of that was juvenile, and I wanted to bring it up.
Oh, okay. So the implication there would be like Shide from that series is like maybe thousands of years old, but emotionally has not matured, and that's why he did all the weird fucked up shit that he did.
I thought it was 300.
Yeah. I said 3,000. That might have been Hiroko that I was thinking, and he was only 300. I don't remember.
Right. Okay.
But
I mean, I understand.
I guess you got what I was saying. But I guess that was like the point.
He's a gamer. That's why.
Well, his whole thing was he like every iteration of like he was alive at that time towards the end because he just kept getting reborn, and his consciousness transferred in like his son constantly. So he's like the son of his son of his son was consciousness transferred, right, or something like that. I forget. So like you would think after doing that process, like maybe it's some weird thing where like because he's moving to a new body, it like mentally resets with like the brain or some shit. I don't know. I don't want to dive into too much of the summertime rendering theory stuff right now, but I understand what you're saying with like for here, like you're bringing it up because we brought up juvenile and like the Viscount and Louise, where it's their weird age gap thing they got going on, where again, a lot of uncomfortable groping scenes on that fucking griffin. We had a whole scene where he's like saying, all right, I want to spend some alone time with you in a very expensive room I bought tonight. It's like, what the fuck? But I mean, at the very least, when she's like, I don't feel like, I don't want to do anything. This is fucking weird. Like, he's just like, okay, I'll leave. And it's like, okay, all right. At least he's not trying to do any weird shit. He's just going to leave. Because again, seems like he's trying to like trick her or whatever. So, you know, and I mean, it seems like it's working. They're going to get married tomorrow. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what in the morning right before everybody dies. I'm thinking to myself like, why are you spending time on a wedding before just leave? Why can't you guys like get married later? Like once you're out of the death zone? But I'm sure it's part of whatever weird shit the Viscount's planning. So
yeah, and meshed man.
So anybody have anything else they want to bring up? Rumia, you haven't said anything in a while. What do you got?
Nice.
I don't know if they're here. Based. Okay.
All
right.
That's what I feel. Yeah.
Do you feel anything towards the series?
It's generic.
Share with the class. How much does it anger you? Okay.
It doesn't really anger me that much. It just feels very generic. Just like, yeah, of course, the headmaster is an old dude who gropes his secretary. Yeah, of course, the guy has the harem. Yeah, of course, there's the fiance with the very questionable age gap, who at no point, no one is even slightly concerned about. Like, even Saito, who is from our world, is never like, man, that guy is way too old for you. No, he sees him and he's like, wow, that guy's cool. There's never any of that. It's just like, yeah, of course.
I assumed that whole like them accepting it was probably something like that world is like whatever on arranged marriages like that. But I had assumed arranged marriages like that would be because like it's noble families trying to like do some weird like connecting stuff. I don't understand what the family gets out of Louise marrying the Viscount. Is it like for magic guard protection? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because like, you know, I like on the one hand I'd be whatever about it if it was all just a marriage for show, but he's like actively groping her and shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't you know. So yeah, Turando, you were gonna say something?
It's kind of like male primogeniture. Japan had a very similar thing where you can't pass assets to a female heir. So in order to solidify that type of thing, you'd have to find a suitable male. You'd have to find a male suitor to like take over the business. So, but I mean, it depends if Louise has siblings. But
I know they mentioned
Louise only has two older sisters.
Yeah, I remember them mentioning she has sisters, but I didn't remember brothers. So okay, so that confirms. Okay, so is she? So she's not the oldest sister though, right? She's like
no, she's the youngest.
No, she's the youngest.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I mean, yeah, I don't know. So then like it wouldn't even go to her anyways. So I don't know.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
so, but I know, but certain assets would pass between both of them through the marriage, not just like one or whatever. Not like
Right.
the complete inheritance, but it'd be some.
Anyways,
Are we done talking about Familiar of Zero? Because I have something else to say.
what are we what? Are we done talking about Familiar Zero or?
I am so fucking annoyed about the undead horse thing that I mentioned.
I didn't even understand what you were talking about with that.
Okay, so the
What?
I will explain it. So the idea, obviously, that you would interpret that we've run into in the anime industry, in particular with isekai, is the idea of beating a dead horse. You know that idiom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The idea of the undead horse is that you have now taken that horse that you have beat to death and you're saying, what if we do something goofy with it and bring it back as a way to like parody or like do a subversion of trope things? So the problem that you run into that we're having right now is the undead horse, where you get the fucking vending machine, where it's this like weird like subversion of tropes, right?
I mean,
It's
yeah.
fucking stupid, okay?
It's not stupid. It is interesting.
No,
It is interesting. You're wrong.
No,
You're wrong.
counterculture. The
Thank
idea
you
that
everyone for coming to our anime book club of
No.
Zero Familiar.
No, hold on.
1, 3, and 4.
Hold on.
the idea that every single media movement has to have some kind of counter movement or counterculture is so fucking annoying because it becomes this endless feedback loop cycle. That's the
Thank
exact
you,
problem that I have with
everyone.
postmodernism, is the fact that modernism was this thing and it was perfectly fine, and then postmodernism went, what if we actually just lit that on fire and then called it art?
Chat,
That
can
is
you
exactly
tell that Andy is an art student? Can you
That is
tell?
exactly what is happening to the isekai industry, and I think it's dumb.
Why do you hate fun? Can we start there? Why do you hate fun? You look at a vending machine isekai and you're like, fuck this creature and its anime eyes. Fuck this like.
All because you hate postmodernism.
I think.
Listen.
that
Familiar
the
Zero
vending-
caused all this. I don't know if you understand the
That's
gravity
why
of this.
I like Familiar
So-
Zero and not the vending machine one.
The vending machine is not trying to fucking parody Familiar of Zero though.
No,
Okay.
it's parodying the isekai genre. That's what I'm saying. Is the
And
fact that
Andy
it
is
is.
saying
It's-
that
well-
in relation it is parodying Familiar of Zero.
I like it's not exactly parodying. So okay, maybe it's just a difference of definitions here. I don't consider like a funny gimmick to be a parody of the thing, right? Because in my view, a parody of it is like something that's actively commenting on the genre. But a vending machine isekai is just a gimmick of the genre, like the unique trait of this story of the genre. And it's just like funny and like meta concept for us to be like, wow, isekai is getting real fucking weird or whatever. I don't really know if I'd consider that necessarily a parody. I'd consider something like people consider Konosuba a parody of the isekai genre, but I don't really even know if I'd consider that. It just is an isekai. The parody is more towards RPG like party tropes. Like the joke is like every member of the party is supposed to be a different RPG character, and all of them are like the exact opposite of useful for that role, right? So like Darkness is a tank, supposed to be super defensive. Literally all her attacks missed, and she only blocks damage because she's horny. Megumin has one spell that she does, and after it's like super powerful, but after she does it, she's out for the day. And like Kazuma is just main character dude, straight guy-ish. He's like horny or whatever, but he's like the like comedic, like what the fuck are you guys doing? But he's also like a
Most
weird dirty
reasonable
dude or
one.
whatever. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just a definitions thing on my end, because I don't really necessarily consider things that are supposed to be like parodies of these things. Like, you know, just because it's a comedic version of these things doesn't necessarily mean it's a parody in my view. But I don't know. Maybe it's just difference in definitions of these things. I don't look at the vending machine isekai and say this is weird counterculture bullshit. I look at that and say,
Oh, I absolutely look at it and say that it's weird counterculture bullshit.
but why?
You know it's weird caricature bullshit.
Because isekai,
Hater.
it literally, I'm looking at the undead horse trope TV shows page right now. The progression that isekai took was that originally, you get transported into another world, and eventually, or like summoned to another world, and eventually summoning to another world became boring. So then you do reincarnated, and then reincarnated into the fantasy genre became boring. So you got Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Devil is a part-timer, where the magical being is being brought to our world, and then you get bored of the reincarnation. You get bored of the traditional summoning. You get bored of the modern fantasy, and you go, what if vending machine? It is. I'm not saying necessarily that it is a counterculture to the original isekai, but we have gone from isekai is. And I'm not saying that isekai was ever this is the box that isekai goes in, but we have gone from this is the box that isekai goes into, how can we make this as outlandish as fucking possible?
I'm hearing a lot of words for you to say, I don't want things to be different. I want all these shows to be familiar of Zero and nothing else is what it sounds like to me.
Yes. You know what?
For you, there is actually, I don't know if you know this or not.
If you're about to link Tsukihime again,
4-season anime of Familiar of Zero that you can watch right now.
Oh my god.
I've seen it already. I've seen it 4 times.
But you can still watch it. If that's what you want.
Listen,
You
maybe
can watch it again.
maybe you want everything to be familiar Zero, okay? I don't want everything to be familiar Zero. I would like to watch
What's
other
wrong with
stuff,
that?
okay?
Well,
There's
I watch good stuff.
there's 80 Familiar of Zero light novels. There's I've been
Is it
in the
really that
trenches.
many?
Read.
Jesus.
Andy does not read
There's-
it. It has to be anime.
No. Anne read the Familiar of Zero light novel. If
They're
you
only
read one,
they're reading it
have
now
80.
because we're doing this book club. The moment we're done, they're probably not going to be reading it.
Oh, that's true. Well, they might make an anime, or they'll make AI webtoon or something. You'll get there
Lord.
eventually. You just need to wait a couple of years.
Listen,
And,
the day
I'm-
the AI Familiar of Zero gets announced, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm
Alright, go on.
I'm not saying that it is what the anime movement is right now, but because you still get all of the anime that are very much the Familiar of Zero, or the fantasy ones that you don't like. Chab, I'm outing him as a fantasy hater, but I
mean,
just
it's not wrong, but
because
I've been rewatching Game of Thrones recently. That's fucking great, but I like that more for the political kind of fantasy stuff, I guess. This series, is dipping into the political stuff and then just using it as a tool to be all right, here's what's going on with Louise and Saito's relationship thing. Also, we have to make the bad guy a groomer just to make sure you guys know he's a bad guy in case you couldn't pick it up.
Killing
So
the puppy.
yeah,
You
so-
know, I'm trying to get some Sword Online flashbacks. You know?
because I do think parts of the actual world they're trying to develop about this could be a lot cooler. Maybe it's just because we're reading the manga that it's not going to get developed nearly as much as I'd like. The magic system with the elements, the different types of familiars that people are going to have related to that. We have the Griffin Knights, magic guard. The different Albion being a sky constant. All these kind of things I think could be pretty cool, especially when we're talking about the political stuff going on. But at least with the manga, it's just by the way, this is why Louise is getting groped by a mole familiar right now. It's because of the jewel that she's carrying or whatever. It's just, I don't know. They're going on a secret mission, and right before it, Saito has to kiss Henrietta because, I don't know. Listen, I'm just saying, there's plenty of fantasy out there that is doing other things with its stuff and seems like it gives more of a shit at least about what's going on with its world and the settings of it. At least in terms of this manga, it seems like that's all just kind of weird background dressing, which makes sense if this is all just based on the light novels, where it's just using as background dressing for this is why fucking Saito is a wimpy bitch and Louise wants him but doesn't know how to express herself to him, and I don't know.
no, that's the one spot where I won't defend Saito is he's still a whippy fucking bitch.
He's been a wimpy piece of shit for most of these 2 volumes, and I'm him being a wimp and then seeing Louise slap him so hard that she drops the fucking water potion and it breaks and she just walks away fuck you, I'm not dealing with your your like burn anymore kind of shit. Like I'm just like, good, Saito, you've been a fucking loser and you need to fucking do something. Jesus.
Turndo, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chaplain, if that's like the story you like, you should read Nomenclature of the Night. You're gonna The thing with light novels is they only like translate once a month. So it's
Right.
like you get like 2,000 words every 1 month, and
Yeah.
you have to do that for like 3 years. But
Yeah,
pretty nice. If that's a story you're looking forward to.
I keep telling
ahead.
myself I'm going to try and get more into light novels. The problem is just that it's a big like time commitment. I think
It's a massive time commitment.
like, and even like light novels are supposed to be easier to read through, but it's just a whole thing where it's like I have to sit down and read like 200-ish pages still. Like it's already hard enough for me to sit down and read a visual novel, and now you want me to read 200 pages with like an image every like 20 pages maybe. I don't know. But things like J Novel Club, where they do their releases on there, where it's like, here's chapter 1, like this week or whatever. It's like maybe that kind of format is more easier to get into because it's like, oh, this is a weekly chapter I can read. This is like a couple pages. I can read that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think most of the light novels they just update it like once a month. So you like read. There's like they publish 2,000 words of translated content, and they just update it every month or every week.
I would
That's,
forget
like,
to read it every month.
That's been my problem.
That's the problem.
I subscribe for J Novel Club. I subscribe to a whole bunch of things, and I just always forget to use them. But I mean, it's usually some of these things are cheap. Like the Shonen Vault's pretty cheap. Viz is pretty cheap. But like J Novel Club, I forget how much it costs per month or whatever. But they at least give you like medals or tokens or coins, whatever they call them on there, even if you don't use them up, so that you can like use those to buy things later on, and you get that like once a month with your thing. So I'm like, oh, so at least my subscription is not a total waste. So you could buy things permanently with those, so that's nice. So, I don't know. All I know is we're talking about fantasy stuff. There's a whole bunch of fantasy, especially a lot of fantasy isekai stuff out there that is probably doing.
We can find you better.
We can find you better. Okay, the ReZero exists.
I'm not saying that I hate all isekai that isn't familiar zero. I'm saying that
you hate like gimmicky comedy isekai is what you're saying.
I hate counterculture. I hate when they take something that like yes, I hate gimmicky comedy. Yep. Honestly, yeah, that's what it is.
What do you think when you hear I've been reincarnated, or that time I was reincarnated as a slime? Do you feel hate? Do you feel
What emotions do you feel, Anne? Tell us.
I don't know. I think it definitely is bordering on absurd to the point of being like more weird than enjoyable. But I think that to me, that one still strikes me as you're gonna get a lot of that world building and those fantasy elements that I like. You're still gonna get a lot of that in that particular one, in a way that is engaging. At the end, I think it really depends on the writing, and that is the problem that you run into with a lot of these, is that they start as light novels that aren't very good, and then they get adapted into anime that aren't very good. I just like, I don't know, like, I like isekai, so why mess with it when it's not broken?
Here's the other question.
Ahead,
You say you like isekai. You've seen like No Game, No Life, and Familiar of Zero. Which other ones have you seen?
Yep.
Is that it?
That's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just basing it all on. Okay, all right.
Yep.
There's a lot of good isekai though. Yeah.
Like Wolfborg, I watched 4 anime. Okay.
Listen, if you're listening to this right now and you want to know a good isekai to start with, do not start with Familiar of Zero.
Do not start with Familiar
or
Zero.
No Game, No Life. Do not start with either of these.
That's why I started with Wolfborg, you fool.
These are
those
probably...
are the gateway anime.
Those
are great.
Listen, those are great ways to weird some people out of anime. If you're like, I don't know, if you
hate someone.
Like,
I think that's the perfect place to start.
That's hilarious
because
yeah,
like
those were both recommended to me.
Because like if I'm going to somebody to recommend them anime, I would never start with something like Evangelion, right? You would start with something else, like even though
That's
like
a little more simple.
some of these things are like big like staples of the genre. But if you're trying to recommend, like if I'm trying to get somebody into anime and I have to start with an isekai, I'd be saying stuff like ReZero probably, because it's like very solid. It's got a nice structure. It's got a couple waifus, but it's not entirely focused on the waifus. Like they're like, you know, like those kind of like.
It's got a funny main character. So
It's got a very funny, relatable main character, Kun.
I mean, you could do a sentence of a bookworm, but then you're just going to be learning about candle making and then like, you know, bookbinding.
I never got into that.
boring.
I never got into that, and I asked a friend of mine who watched all of it if it got better, because I kept hearing good things, and they also didn't think it was that great. So I don't know. I don't know. I watched one episode of that, and I was like, no, this is probably just not for me.
It's pretty boring as an anime. I mean, I read the manga and the light novel, and it still wasn't. As I said, isekai was a big genre back in like 2016. Slime Tensei was pretty good.
A lot of isekai is just like different excuses for different like types of weird stories, but just in a fantasy setting, like potion shops in another world. Like I'll survive using potion. What is
Parallel World Pharmacy?
Yeah. Like I think about those, and I'm just like, oh, so it's just like you wanted to be a doctor, but we're just gonna do the doctor things in a fantasy world, so we can do fantasy things with like healing people and stuff like that. Okay, so we have that kind of thing. Then you have stuff like fuck, I had a couple
Goblin
examples
Kingdom?
in my head. What's what?
Remonster? Goblin Kingdom? Remonster?
I don't know.
What was it? Like
these...
Demon Mao? Sorry.
Oh, Demon Mount. I think the Demon Lord retry or whatever. And shit. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Like we have a bunch of different kind of isekai stories that are just fantasy, and like the being from another world just kind of gets ignored. It's really just an excuse to be like, here's an otaku just in another world, and now they have an overpowered ability. And I look at those and I'm just like, wow, a lot of isekai can be shit. Some of it can be really good, but it like the good ones are the ones that like, well, I'd say everybody talks about, but everybody also talks about Mushoku Tensei. So I don't, I don't know.
That's good though. That was a great light novel. That was
Listen,
actually one of the better ones.
maybe
You had
the
like
light-
saving 80,000 gold pieces to be retirement. That was rough.
That one I heard. That one was that was a series, the 80,000 gold piece one. Yeah, I saw an episode of that or whatever, but I don't know how that goes. But all I know is Mushoku Tensei is like good in theory, and then has questionable things that really put off a lot of people. So it's like, if I'm trying to get somebody into isekai or get into anime via isekai, I'm never gonna start them off with Mushoku Tensei. If I'm getting somebody into isekai, that's more for like MMO RPG kind of isekais. Even though I know like some of them turn it into another world, it's just kind of weird. Like Sword Art Online is considered by a lot of people to be like the big anime to make isekai popular, and I think even the author itself doesn't consider it an isekai. So like, because like they're in a video game. Like if you're trapped in the video game, that could change things. But like, I don't know. It's a whole thing where it's a question of like, you know, what is another world? And this is all the thing I talk about in my video. I don't want to sit here all day talking about isekai fucking media logic, but
I just want, like, the person is forcefully transferred to another world, and like it's then their body, not this reincarnation shit. Okay, I'm sick of the reincarnation. I want them physically portaled to another world, and I want more of them wanting to go back. I want them to want to go back. That's what I feel like so much of it is missing. I
wish Saito wanted to go back home too.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I like him and his character so much. It's because even if it is only when it's plot relevant or he's being a little bitch, he does still want to go home, and that's something that I feel like doesn't exist a whole lot. Like that is the piece. That is the piece that I want in the isekai genre that we don't fucking get.
But again, with Saito,
it's the One Piece.
Saito only really wants to go home if Louise isn't gonna date him. Like if Louise is gonna date him, like
at least he wants to go home.
Now, if he wanted to actually go home, he'd be sitting there like on those scenes where he's like on the balcony and stuff. He'd be sitting there reminiscing about his home or about his family, or he'd actually, mention it a couple of times.
The beginning of the series started with him on his way to like see some of his relatives or something like that, right? He like mentioned some relatives or something like that, and he just teleports to another world. None of that matters. We don't care. He's been gone for months. Don't worry about it. Again, in terms of the manga, at least, I don't know what happens in the light novels. I don't remember what happens in the anime, but the manga, it sounds like
From what we've seen in the manga, he doesn't really care about going home.
The only other thing that made that scene a little more impactful in the light novel was the fact that when he was looking at the moons, more things of the manga just not fucking expanding on the world. So the gimmick, and maybe it did mention this, but the gimmick of Albion is that when the two moons
they did
overlap,
yep,
when the two moons overlap, Albion is at its closest. So on that scene with the balcony in the light novel, Saito was looking at the moons as they were overlapping, and the moons are like blue and pink. So when they combined, I don't know how blue and pink made this color, but they made like this like little like peachy color is how it was described, and that reminded him of home, and the fact that it was like this world is all like he can almost imagine that this is his home, but he's not, like this is not where he belongs and stuff. And that and I know in the past he's also mentioned like basically just saying that he doesn't belong, like he sticks out like a sore thumb. He's not familiar with this like fantasy medieval setting. But it doesn't happen a whole lot. It is fair.
What I will say to you, please try other isekai. You have a whole speech about how much you hate how gimmicky some other isekai are, and then you don't try anything, and you're just like, listen, I got Familiar of Zero, and I got No Game No Life. Why the fuck do I gotta try anything else?
I honestly don't, when I'm talking about isekai, I don't even consider No Game No Life in my head.
I mean,
is No Game No Life an isekai?
Okay.
It is.
Well, yeah, they're transported from their modern world into this other world by like the trickster god or whatever.
They're like actively recruited because they are like top tier gamers in their world. They're like the smartest gamers, so they get teleported to this world where the rules of the world are everything is settled by a game, by the physics of the world itself. So, it's like a whole. Like they are using their abilities of how they approach life in the human world, where they wished everything could have been a game, because then it'd be more fair for them to succeed in life. Instead, they were like otakus that were just in the room together to the point where if they're ever separated, they lose their fucking minds. Is how close they were. So
that was weird, but.
I mean, there was also heavy incest vibes with that, so yeah.
Yeah.
Again, another reason why I would not start somebody off with No Game No Life. So.
I have no
you ever get bored of this?
I started with it, and I was fine.
Oh yeah, Shadow started off. Shadow accidentally watched No Game. Was that one you watched with your parents? I think it was Kagegurui. You accidentally watched Kagegurui with your parents.
Not.
They tried like putting on an anime show. They're like, "Oh, what's this one?" And it's Kakegurui, and his mom was probably just like, right after JoJo. Yeah, I would die.
Yeah.
If you start with Fruit Basket, I see.
Yeah.
That's a solid place to start.
Familiar Zero. I think I literally went Familiar Zero, Toradora, Ouran High School Host Club, Monster Musume.
Oh my god, what happened? What happened?
Everything about you.
Listen, please. There's so
I don't remember if Monster Musume came before or after Black Butler, but Monster Musume was definitely in there.
There's so much other anime. There's also so much other ecchi anime if you're trying to like look for there's been so much over the years that you can try. And you're just like, nah, I already got fucking Familiar.
That's a lie. I did watch Black Rock Shooter before Black Butler.
Oh, I see. Was it like in alphabetical
That's
order?
That's only because Miku.
I didn't know Miku at the time, actually. My fucking scene friend showed it to me. He's also the one that showed me Ruby. So his taste in media is less than subpar.
That's a lot coming from you.
No, that's a lot of damage.
I think my pipeline was I think it was like Shippuden, Yu-Gi-Oh ish, Clannad, Higurashi, probably Fruits Baskets. Started with a lot of shonen and visual novel adaptations, even though I didn't know what a
Okay,
visual novel was at the time.
Right.
I
It's
think
like
in my case
nope.
it was No Game Life, also Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
and then
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
JoJo.
I think
Mine.
mine was.
Oh yeah, you
Or
go.
go ahead.
You go
That's
first.
probably
You
like
go.
dog
You go
shit
first. You go
stuff.
first.
I had No Game No Life, See Possibility of Money Control, Project K. Then I really went down a rabbit hole from there. But yeah,
I
that's
see.
about it.
So mine started basic at first, Yu-Gi-Oh and like Dragon Ball growing up, and I think a couple of things of like Pokemon and Duel Masters a little bit. I don't think I got too heavy into them, but Duel Masters I like
Fair.
bought the cards because I liked Yu-Gi-Oh, and then nobody else bought the fucking Duel Master cards or the Zatch Bell cards or the Dungeon Dice Monster stuff. I was like, oh, well.
Bakugan?
No, I never got into Bakugan. Fuck that shit.
Aw,
Damn.
magnetic card.
I had Beyblades and
Damn.
stuff, okay? But anyways, so that
I
was
had
like the
Beyblade.
basic stuff I started with. When I started seriously like watching other anime that wasn't just whatever fucking 4Kids was showing me, I was like looking up like I think I tried looking up a bunch in like alphabetical order that had like recently come out. So I watched stuff like Aku no Hana, fucking Flowers, that was the Flowers of Evil. Fucking that was life changing for me, like in more than one way. Because one, it was really fucking weird because it's rotoscope 3D.
That was the
whatever.
rotoscoped one. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but also it's like a fucking awesome like drama romance story that's like all psychological and like hit me at about the time, you know, that I was about probably the protagonist's age. So I was like, whoa, he just like me for real. What was going on with these emotions or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. Then I watched something called Ana Matsude Matsu, which is Waiting in the Summer. I forget what its actual Japanese title was, but Waiting in the Summer was just like, so I watched Aku no Hana, I'm like, whoa, this is life changing. Then the next one was Alien Girl Romance Drama Slice of Life in the Summer thing, and also the FBI showed up towards the end.
Oh, so just summertime rendering.
No, it was not a like mystery. Like she was an alien girl who was immediately the love interest of the main character boy who was trying to like do like a summer film with like his friends or whatever. He was like some film loner dude or whatever, and it was just like a summer like slice of life thing with like some drama towards the end where like the people are just like, oh, there's a fucking alien girl, we gotta take her out, or like government shit or whatever. But
Oh,
like
yeah, it's the reincarnated alien. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I watched those, and then so I had like intense drama, psychological thing, life changing. Then it was just etchy slice of life, and then it was Mirai and Nikki, my first experience with a death game anime. I thought it was awesome at the time, hooked me into death game stuff. Now I fucking hate Mirai and Nikki when I look back on it. Oh my god, Jesus Christ!
Still cool. Still cool. Golden Blood.
In
Oh, that's
concept,
good.
in execution, it was something. But then I got into like Danganronpa. I watched the anime first, and I was like, then I eventually tried the visual novel. I'm like, damn, that was a great visual novel. Why did the anime do that?
I feel like the fucking execution thing is the hard part with so many of these because I mean, again, not to be a familiar Zero apologist, but like you said with like Mirai Nikki, like Danganronpa, it's like there's so much cool stuff that they can work with, and then they just fuck it up. They fuck it up.
Yep, true, based.
There's no trash anime though. Like if like compared to like the source material, the anime is like the best of the best. The light novels are much lower quality.
Turndo,
So, like,
I
there's
want
no
you.
bad
I
anime.
want you to do me a favor, and I want you to watch season 4 of
X-Arm.
Familiar Zero.
Okay.
X-Arm. You know what?
I
Let's
fucking
fucking
X-Arm.
talk about X-Arm.
Oh my god, let's not talk about X-Arm. How about we
The
talk
more
about?
experimental it is, the better. Because
Hello.
I should
I
put that
lived
on
in
the
the dark
soundboard.
days of animation.
I should put that on the
I lived in the
soundboard.
dark days of animation.
Yes.
I had to
X-Arm.
watch foreign animation, and that was rough.
X-Arm
Okay.
was not experimental. X-Arm was a money laundering scheme.
From a limo company. Listen,
Allegedly.
my
Source,
lawyers will be in contact with the X-Arm
And-
producers. Don't worry.
I wrote a whole
The
fucking
limousine
article.
company. Yeah.
I wrote 2 articles about how the manga was actually like redeemable. It was a fucking ecchi, so obviously you're gonna have some weird like
Weird
sexual
shit.
scenes, but the plot
Peak.
was like good.
I like the sexual stuff, the ecchi side of X-Arm was not the problem with X-Arm. Even if it was executed well, there was so many things about the what the anime was doing. Even if you're not ignoring it visually, we watched all that in like a group viewing together. It was an experience. It was an
This is
experience,
like a
and the
recurring
manga was
joke.
doing very different
I-
things. So I don't know what happened.
I'm
I-
going to
there is, like, a recurring
apologize to
joke with
art
me. It's like,
students
oh, this guy's on
in
the 2D
advance.
side of the family.
Were you apologizing to?
Like, I have to apologize to animation students because X-Arm is 10 times better than tadpoles looking for a frog. Okay, I had to watch like ink art animation of tadpoles looking for a frog, and that was a very very painful like 10 minutes. So X-Arm, like as bad as the animation was,
X-Arm definitely, like, as somebody who is an animation major who is currently in their senior year with a bunch of other people that are working on their capstone, X-Arm definitely looks like the kind of thing that a small group they'd have this grand idea for a final film that they want to work on, but they can't fucking rig to save their lives, or they're like not good at it because they're students and it's their first film they've ever worked on. So it turns out mediocre. And if you were to tell me like, oh, what we're presenting right now is a student film, like that is from some punk ass 4-year university like ASU and not like Cal Arts or something, some like a university that isn't necessarily an art school. If you told me that was who made X-Arm, I would believe you. And I wouldn't say that it's good, but I would be like, I hope those students graduated and went on to do better things. It's just like, for something that was commercially advertised, no.
I think we've gotten off the Familiar of Zero topic.
We definitely
train.
have. We're pretty much
have.
done talking about Familiar Zero for this week. So, nobody has any final things to say about Familiar Zero, right? We can wrap that up for this
Good
week.
shit.
Wow. Very, very angry threats towards.
No, it's facts.
You are insulting.
I can always drag it out, but like I don't want to inflict that on you guys.
Just
'Cause
understand-
there's a lot to talk about.
Just understand, every criticism is a direct attack on Anne. That's just how this works.
Yeah,
So
I will cry.
Wait.
they will
It's
do
more
a
like just
presentation
more fun.
crying. Okay, it will happen.
Because we
All right.
never got into Henrietta or like Mazur, like any of like the side characters, like Geish's like backstory and whatnot.
I get worried because
Don't
we're
matter.
like we're more than halfway
that's the
through with the
problem.
series
We're
now.
halfway
We're
there.
not going to have time
Yeah.
for any of these things in the
No.
manga. These things
the
will not
cardinal-
get developed in the manga. It sounds like.
The Cardinal, like, I understand the Cardinal, like, Turando, you mentioned that they kind of did him dirty. Where is he in all of this? Even if he's supposed to be like the person that's like puppeteering from the back end in Tristane's politics, it is still Henrietta who is like interacting with Osmond about the traitor in their ranks or something. Like, he hasn't been there.
Mazarin's technically in Germany right now, but yeah.
By the way, Volume 3 opened with they came to town, they talked about the Cardinal. They made a very weird, very specific reference to a ballad that was going around town about how Henrietta doesn't have any magic, the Cardinal holds her wands and shit like that. I wrote it down because I thought it'd be significant, and now I'm just like, why did that happen?
Why did that happen? Yeah.
Why
Historical
did
context, yeah.
just
I
for
know
like
about most of it, you know.
So there is definitely
just sending a diss track?
definitely a couple things that I know are a Chekhov's gun situation. So I'm wondering if that's going to end up being a Chekhov's gun situation. And I know that Henrietta never used any magic in the anime. I don't remember her using any, at least. So I don't know if that's going to become relevant later. But like Chap said, we only have 3 more volumes.
It seems like we're going to be using up the next volume to resolve this arc going on, so
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I don't know.
I
the
thought this
ending's
was
gonna
gonna like end where the first season ends. I don't even think we're gonna reach that. I don't
No,
I think we're
don't
like
think so.
about like probably like maybe 7, 8 episodes into where the anime was. If you cut out some filler stuff, I don't remember.
Actually, we might get to the end because I jumped ahead and it looked like we got to the final battle that happens in the anime.
Okay.
Let me check.
Because I remember the scene, like the couple scenes before the ending of the anime where it stops on. I'm not gonna say what happens in it because it's a big spoiler, but I remember it, so I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
I didn't have anything to add.
okay. So all right. So that's it for Familiar Zero Volumes 3 and 4 for this week of our anime book club discussion. Now, before we wrap things up, let me do a very quick shout out to some of the people who monetarily support these memes every week. First, we have Little Lasagna, still the only YouTube member for $5. Thank you so much, Little Lasagna. Anybody else who's interested in becoming a YouTube member, the button's right there below. It's a thing. I said yes to it a while ago. Don't expect too much out of it other than monetarily supporting me. I'd appreciate it. Maybe I'll post some Breaking Bad gifs on the on the community post for that sometimes. I don't know. Then for Twitch subscribers, we have Nyan Bacon. Whoa, who is that person? Never heard of them. So thank you so much for your Twitch subscription on there. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I don't think it's even possible to give me money on Kick. If you are, which I doubt anybody would ever be watching the streams on Kick, but I hit the button to do it anyways, because why not? So if you are interested in watching these things on Twitch and you want to like send the soundboard, by the way, I didn't mute the soundboard, I don't think, and nobody tested it, so surprisingly.
The sound alerts or the soundboard?
I mean, the sound alerts, the Discord soundboard I leave up, but the Twitch sound
I gotta
alerts,
remember to do that next time.
So I muted it now, so don't be trying to do it now. But and Aztec, my one patron, you legend. I think the only thing I do over on that is post like the scripts of some of my videos. Speaking of my videos, if you are interested in these weekly anime book club memes and you want to continue tuning into these, make sure to subscribe and tune in next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll be talking about volumes 5 and 6. Now, I do also want to bring up, after 5 and 6, we will have only volume 7 left. So you guys know what that means? We're going to have another...
We have a lot more to read.
What? No, that means we're going to have another quiz. We're going to have a quiz. Why would you think we
Well,
have more to
first
read?
time to these.
I'm not. I'm just
Uh,
waiting for Chap to just say you're not allowed to participate to me.
That I am going to bring that up. So you can participate. So there's two options that can happen here, and I don't really know where we want to lean towards. You could participate, but you can't win whatever prize I have in mind, which is not going to be a second vote. There is another prize I have in mind, but you would not be able to win that prize. You would be able to participate in terms of answers, but you would not be able to win the prize because you would probably have an unfair advantage here in more than one way. Now, the other option is you host the quiz. But I don't know how.
No,
that seems like a lot of
that.
effort. Yeah, I figured there'd be a lot of effort on like with how busy you are, so I don't want to force that on you. So I will still host it again, and I will write up all the stuff. But you can participate, but whatever prize that you could have won if you get first place, you will not be eligible for. I will not reveal what the prize is necessarily yet, though, but it will not be a second vote in the next vote. So.
I just want Chap to tell me that I get points and I'm doing a good job, so I can live with not winning as long as I get validation.
You're still going to get points, but if you get first place, you're not getting the prize. That's all it is.
That's okay. I can live with that.
But if you don't get first place, it's going to be really awkward.
It's going to be so awkward.
Well, you're gonna get tripped up on like the differences between the anime and the light novel.
and the anime and the yeah.
I am not
Fuck.
double checking these facts with what happens in the anime or the light novels. So everything I'm going to be writing questions about is going to be based on the manga specifically. And I will try to make it questions that I can specifically source things from the manga specifically. So if there's any weird distinctions, sorry, not sorry, should have got your shit straight. I don't know.
Nah, I mean, the light novel's pretty loyal other than having a little bit more detail, but that's understandable in a light novel to manga.
Yeah, so
translation.
Right. So next week we're going to be reading talking about volumes 5 and 6, and then the week after we're going to talk about volume 7, our thoughts on the finale, and then doing the quiz show, just kind of like we did with Summertime Rendering. So if you're interested in how those work, you can go check out the VOD for that one. It was a very fun time. So that's what we're going to do, and then the week after that is going to be the break for Thanksgiving. So we're not going to be streaming at that time anyways, because we were just done with the previous series, so we usually take a break off anyways. So that's where things are currently at. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up this week. Thank you especially to all of our guests here who showed up and helped carry all of the content, all the discussion. Thank you so much to Anne for the presentation / essay / slam poetry crying about undead horses. I don't know how to describe that. Yeah, so we will see you all next week for the next episode of the Anime Book Club.
Bye stream.
Goodbye stream. Goodbye stream. Bye
Watch better
stream.
shonen.
Yeah, and isekai, okay, please. And harems, and just watch something else. Just don't watch the anime for that.